BackintheGays.com's Out, Gay, and Loving with Pride 2011. I'm Rob.
And I'm Cisco, and we're from BackintheGays.com, a blog committed to stories and events that happened back in the days in the LGBT community.
Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Happy Father's Day out there to all the fathers and single mothers and female to male parents and male to female parents out there celebrating Father's Day. Thank you.
So our first interview today is with Out Music Award nominated artist Tyran Gem. You can find Tyran Gem at reverbnation.com/Tyran Gem. That's REVERBNATION.com/Tyran Gem. It was such a pleasure to meet him that day, and this was pre-Out Music Awards, so we want to let you listen to Tyran Gem.
Enjoy.
This is actually with J. Moses Harper.
Oh, J. Moses Harper.
So to your viewers and listeners, if they want to support the film, because it's in support of gay marriage, and it's a great cause, they can go to Facebook. They can go to Love Fits a Box on Facebook, or they can go to their news blog, which is lovefitsabox.webs.com/apps/blog.
Oh, okay, excellent.
And they can check out the latest news about the film as it's being made, and developed.
Oh, excellent. That's great.
Yeah.
So the progress and
Yes.
stuff. Okay. So in honor of Pride 2011,
Yes.
from the streets of New York City, Queer Public Radio and BackintheGays.com presents Out, Gay, and Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011. And that's going to be our special. It starts actually June 5th on Sunday, and it's going to be every Sunday from 6 to 7. All right. So we wanted to ask you, what part of New York City do you call home?
I would say the Bronx. Born and raised in the Bronx. I moved. I did part of my childhood in New Jersey, in East Orange. But I was definitely born and raised in the Bronx from 0 to 16, about 16 and a half. And then my mother moved me and my sister out to New Jersey to get a better, more kind of a calmer environment. The Bronx is kind of rough.
Yeah. What section of the Bronx originally?
161st Street area, Fordham Road area.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I grew up on Fordham Road.
Fordham Road, yeah. That's like Grand Avenue, 183rd.
Oh, okay. 182nd and Valentine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So right off the concourse.
Because I remember the Valentine movie theater?
The Valentine RKO. Remember the RKO was right across the street.
I don't know. I remember the movie theater. You remember the movie theater was on Fordham Road?
Yeah. The Capri Theater also on Fordham Road in Jerome also. There was like 3 theaters.
The two main ones that I remember are the Valentine and the Lowe's.
Yeah.
Lowe's Paradise, and it used to be a movie theater.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
With the ceiling. What is it?
The atmospheric ceiling.
It was very beautiful.
Yeah, but they just redid it actually.
Yeah. But now it's like a performing place. Like people go there to perform.
They have live shows, and they're trying to get more arts to the Bronx. And with a place like that, you can't go wrong.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. It's a great representation of the neighborhood too.
Of the beauty that comes out of New York City.
Exactly. It's amazing.
Well, the concourse, Grand Concourse alone is beautiful.
Yeah.
With the buildings, the Art Deco, it was all put together during the 30s, so the 20s and 30s, and that's when he built it up. So it has a lot of Art Deco influence. So it is beautiful.
And there's so much talent coming from the Bronx. There's just amazing talent coming out of the Bronx.
You got J-Lo and
I know, and yourself being nominated. That's just amazing in itself.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you.
Well, another question we wanted to ask you was, what section of the Bronx were you raised? I guess you already covered that.
Fordham Road, Yankee Stadium area.
Yankee Stadium
primarily.
Okay, in the Bronx.
The Bronx is huge, so it's like that's like one tiny section in comparison.
Yeah.
And the original Yankee Stadium, of course.
Yeah. I missed the original one because it was so it was beautiful, that the original. Even though I only been to like 2 ball games.
Yeah.
There, because I was not like a really like sports. I don't know. It's not. I guess you could say it's a gay thing, but not necessarily a gay thing, because there are a lot of gay people who do like sports.
Yes.
So
it's a personal preference thing,
Yeah. But I happen to be one that was not into sports.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I felt shopping was much more higher on that list.
Yeah. I actually won tickets from my junior high school, and that's how I went. It wasn't because I, really just wanted to. But it was a great experience. So it was a great, to be there.
Yeah. Exactly. It was at least an experience. Yeah. We wanted to ask you is, how is it to be an out performer? Yeah. How is it just to be an out performer? I mean, being openly gay and, how is it? How are you? Are people embracing you from even the straight aspect of people?
I believe so now. Before, let's say like maybe a decade ago, it was harder. And the culture is changing so much now. I think it's allowing even straight people to sort of embrace the LGBT community. But it's been challenging. It's been very challenging because there are certain doors that for me probably won't open as easily, for me. So I have to find other avenues, to stay active and to stay relevant,
Exactly.
And I definitely can't say that the LGBT community has embraced me, but that's because I'm not afraid, I'm claiming myself as an LGBT artist,
Exactly.
But it's different with, mainstream pop, but I do believe things are definitely changing. We're on the cups of of things becoming.
That's great. That's great to hear because it's also great how you really don't, when you sing, you really don't target a certain gender or anything. You just really speak as a general aspect, which leaves it open for the listener to really connect with it with just a general feel to it. There's not that you're talking about a woman or you're talking about, you're just talking about love in general, which is a great thing. It doesn't limit you.
I try to personally keep it neutral so that it doesn't like completely exclude anyone.
Exactly.
So, for example, all of my love songs, I never say he or she. So, it could be relative to a straight couple, it could be relative to a gay couple.
Which is a beautiful thing. It's just love.
And everybody should be able to enjoy your music.
Exactly. And
at the end of the day, we're all the same. At the end of the day, straight or gay, we go through the same emotions. We have the same aspirations, and we're all trying to head in the same direction in terms of our goals and our happiness in life, and that's what it's about. But for me, I found it important to identify myself as an LGBT artist because there aren't many people who are proud enough or who have the courage to do it.
Exactly.
So
it's a great thing. Yeah, it really does. At the same time, while you're doing what you love, you're able to connect with people and hopefully help someone in the same situation, which is a nice thing.
Yeah.
Anytime you can do something you love, oh my God, and connect with someone, that's a beautiful thing. It really is. Yeah. So how does it feel to be nominated? I mean,
it feels great. I mean, it took me by surprise. I mean, I was like, wow.
Yeah, outstanding. I mean,
Thank you
nominee for R&B and Soul.
Thank you so much.
That's just an amazing thing. I mean,
it took me by surprise. I don't know. I'm honored. That first of all, I think it's wonderful that Out Music, the organizers of Out Music, is putting this together for the LGBT community, because otherwise we wouldn't have the same acceptance in other aspects and other avenues. So it's important and imperative that our own community, sort of create some sort of stage where we can be proud of our achievements, and the music industry. And although we've always been the LGBT community has always been a part of the music industry, but few have been bold enough and brave enough to identify themselves as LGBT. But we've been both, of course, in front and behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Even
making the outfits.
Yeah.
so every aspect we're always around.
The makeup, the hair, the costuming.
We're all around.
Yes, the makeup artist, so we've always been a part of the entertainment period, But I really I'm so proud of Out Music, because they're creating a platform and a stage for people who otherwise would probably be ignored by the other avenues, So I think it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, it really, really is. It's amazing that we have this, and it's a shame that we have to sort of divide it from gay to straight, but at least we are able to show our.
Gives us a night to shine.
Yeah, it gives us a night to shine, exactly, and not be ashamed of being ourselves.
But it's not our doing. It's
really
people
isn't.
who are choosing to force us to say that we have to be straight to gain some sort of success that they feel that we won't gain if we are who we are.
Exactly.
And it's not fair. It puts us in a position, and it's easy for them to say, "Oh, we'll do this, and we'll give you this, we'll give you fame and money."
Yeah.
But we're sacrificing our identity and who we are.
At what cost?
At what cost?
Basically, yeah.
So.
Yeah, because they want you to conform to something that, in the long run, it's a long story. Yeah. It really is.
They want you to conform because they feel that, and I think people are ready at this point in time.
Yeah.
I think gay and straight people are ready to embrace, the LGBT community.
Yeah.
And say, because I think for the most part, straight people in this day and time understand the struggles that we have gone through, and it's no different from the struggles of civil rights,
Exactly.
And I think most people understand that.
Yeah.
So I think people are ready, and I think the music industry needs to have confidence and give people more credit that that it's time to.
Yeah. Well, that's what
to
we
make
need, more
the change,
community things.
Yeah.
These more community things in result will end up being.
Yes. Maybe educating people, and they become more. They understand that there's not much difference.
Exactly.
We're all the same.
And what we do in our bedrooms is our business. That doesn't have really anything to do with the outside. So
and it doesn't change. It does, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fair.
No, doesn't it doesn't change our artistic value or anything. It doesn't affect that.
No. No, we were out there before, and we told you, and now we're telling you, and we're still out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yes.
That's so true. I wanted to ask you, where do you find your inspiration when writing songs?
From many places, mostly the radio station, many artists. Oh God, I can. The list is probably endless.
Your current inspiration, how about that? What was your inspiration for Human Being?
Stevie Wonder, George Michael's, Elton John, Neo from today. He would be someone of today that inspires me. Mariah Carey is a huge influence to, she's an amazing singer-songwriter. Oh God, it just goes on. Donny Hathaway. Oh God.
Excuse me.
Boy George. Just like so many people who. Oh, sorry.
Oh, good. You're all right.
Anyone who had music that really touches your soul, I never forget. It's not comedian. True Colors. Cindy Lauper.
Yes. Which is going to be at the Music Awards.
Yeah, she's an honoree tomorrow.
She's an honoree tomorrow.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yes.
So wow, maybe I'll get to meet. That'd be amazing to meet Cindy Lauper.
Yeah.
And that song by Boy George, not Chameleon. It was a beautiful song by him.
Yeah, so many.
I know.
That's the thing with Boy George. Which we follow him on Twitter.
Yeah.
It was a slower song. I can't think of it right now. I'm blanking right now. But he was one of those artists. Him. It might have been.
That was a slow one. Crying Game. Yeah.
That was a slow one. Yeah. Which
is a really how does it go?
Oh, you're gonna put us on the spot here. We can't sing. No, we couldn't put it on because
about the Crying Game.
Yeah, it has the Crying Game.
Slow.
Yeah, it's slow.
Did it for a movie actually. It was in a movie called Crying Game.
I'm thinking that's not chameleon, right?
That's fast.
No, but it's not that one. It's a beautiful. It's like a ballad. It starts off the beginning like slow, like really slow, and it's beautiful. Well, his vocals are just like
Yeah.
Just beautiful, beautiful vocals.
Well, everyone you mentioned, I mean,
Yeah.
really, Mariah
Those are the
Carey.
people who really inspired me. Like people who wrote music that really is beautiful type, music.
Where you connect to it. You
Yeah.
really connect to it. Yeah, that's nice. That's really, really nice.
Yeah.
What is your ultimate goal with everything that you're doing? Just what is your ultimate personal goal with everything that's going on right now, from being nominated to the documentary that you're working on, Love Fits a Box? I mean, what's your ultimate goal with everything that's going on?
My ultimate goal as a recording artist ultimately is to put out music and hopefully create music that people in the world that everyone can relate to, like beautiful ballads that really touch people's heart and their spirit, and ultimately, people like Stevie Wonder. He wrote beautiful songs, inspirational. Like, I consider myself to be an inspirational singer-songwriter. And to me, if you have a gift to sing, you should be doing something that's going to make a difference in the world,
Exactly.
Michael Jackson, he had beautiful songs that really brought the world together and touch people's hearts and make people believe that there's hope, that there's hope in life and there's hope in the world. And that's what I want to do as an artist. I think most what I would call real artists, so to speak, real artists, what we really want is to touch people, the hearts,
Yeah.
And we could do that if we feel like we did something, we made a difference, through our music,
Yeah. Anyone that screams out your name, Tyron, that song, Human Being, I mean, I connected to it on so many different levels.
Yes.
It must be amazing when you hear that. I mean,
Yes.
because you connected with them on a musical level and on a personal level.
Yes. Yes, because it feels good, and particularly with Human Beings, which is a song that I was nominated for. That one I wrote with a very strong intention. Like, I really wanted to write something that everyone could relate to, and that was a beautiful ballad. And it's ironic that one was the one that got nominated, because I really put strong intention into writing it.
Wow.
So it made me felt really good that
That's
it was
great.
nominated,
And when was it released?
I released it August. I just released it in August of this year, August 10th of this year, and I'm re-releasing it. Actually, it's coming out tomorrow. Yes.
You're re-releasing it tomorrow.
Got a lot going on
tomorrow.
You got a lot going on tomorrow. Yeah, from nominations to...
Yes, it'll be available on iTunes and on Napster and everywhere online.
Oh, excellent. And how could people connect with you? I'm sure you have a MySpace.
Well, they can reach out to me on ReverbNation.com.
Reverb Nation.
And it would be ReverbNation ReverbNation.com/TyranGem.
Tyran.
Yeah, and they can reach out to me. I definitely will get back to you if you have, if you want to speak to me personally. I definitely will return your.
He's very good with that.
Yeah.
We can vouch for that. Yeah, we definitely can. Very personable.
Yeah, I'm very personable.
That's a great thing. Definitely, and you're humble. That's another thing. You're very, very humble, and that's a great quality.
Your mama taught you well.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need in our community right now. Between supporting each other and being humble and respecting each other, what else can we ask for?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why
that's the key to make the world a better place. And
exactly.
To all I think all the issues primarily that we face in this world, just basically understanding and respect of all people, and
Yeah, we'll get there. It's just a matter of people taking the time and realizing that your opinion. If I give you a chance to actually speak your mind and show your opinion, I can learn from your opinion just as much as you can learn from mine, and never judge each other's opinion, because you are more than willing to live behind your opinion, and I'm willing to live behind it, and we can still be the best of friends and be neighbors.
Yeah.
It's not about that.
And listen to other people's opinion. We can learn from where they come from, where their opinions come from.
Exactly.
And it's just everybody has an opinion in life, we all have opinions. We all have, there's all different perceptions. Media is a part of it all,
Of course.
and what we're taught and stuff like that.
And lack
But at
of
the end of the
education.
day, we have to become right. Definitely lack of education. But at the end of the day, we still have to. We're responsible for our own ideas, what the conclusion that we come to, and what our perception. We can't allow our perceptions to be molded by someone else's opinion. We have to formulate our own opinions of the world and the people around us.
Exactly.
And decide what we feel is the truth.
Exactly. And we also have to remember that what we try to avoid, we can't end up cloning. Because I noticed that with our LGBT community, that what we end up trying to avoid, we end up cloning. And that's a major thing. We have to remember that a lot of the things that we have done is because we're trying to educate and also have acceptance. So we can't create an environment where we're judging our own community within our own, there's different, there's the circuit boy, the bear, there's this and that. And all those things were created because we weren't being accepted within our own community. So we have to remember that we shouldn't live behind these things.
Because a lot of that's very true in our community. Yeah. And the thing is, it causes us to stifle our own growth.
Exactly.
So it's like to say, well, you can't do this because you're a butch and you're this and you're a femme, and at the end of the day, it stifles people and puts them in boxes and says, you shouldn't do that because they're all different aspects to being gay.
Exactly.
There are quote unquote masculine gays, quote unquote feminine gays, quote unquote somewhere in between gays. So just gotta let people be and just let it be and stop feeling as if you have to identify it.
Exactly.
Box it.
Yeah, classification
We're all
and
human
titles.
beings.
Yeah.
We're all human beings.
Like my song, like the song.
Exactly.
We're all
Perfect
human
example.
beings.
Perfect example. Well, we have one more question. We wanted to ask you, what does pride mean to you?
Okay. Pride means to me, not being afraid of your history and not being afraid to stand in your truth and be who you are in the world, who you, whatever you call that being, God, your creator, or whatever, meant for you to be in the world, not being afraid to be that.
That's a good message. Yeah, definitely. You should only be yourself.
Yes.
That's what's brought you all your successes because you've only been yourself. And in the process, you put so much love into your music, and people are just embracing you because you're just being you.
Yes, and you accept, in having pride, you accept yourself all the way, and you allow yourself, you don't stifle yourself, you allow yourself to be whatever it is that you are created to be in this world.
Exactly. You leave yourself open also for different opportunities while meeting different people. It's just amazing that when you leave yourself open, everything just falls into place.
Yes.
It's when you limit yourself and you create too many judgments, that's when you limit yourself.
Yeah.
And it's a reflection of the success that you're having right now, being nominated tomorrow for the Out Music Awards. Congratulations.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you guys having me on your show. I really appreciate this opportunity. And it's always great to meet new people and to have new ideas and new creative perspectives and goals and aspirations and different sort of perspectives on this city that I love so much, New York, and that bring to the table their own special gift that I can learn from as a human being, and that's a blessing for me to be able to come in contact with people who can give me a new perspective on the world and what it means to be gay. That it's not just the recording artists. It's the people who create this kind of environment that gives a stage for the LGBT community to be seen and heard. And lets us see that we do have a lot to offer, and we have given a lot to society and history, of course.
Yeah, you put the nail on the head, definitely. And a lot of the things that we've given, society tends to take for granted.
Yeah.
And there's going to come a time where situations like this are definitely giving that opportunity for people to realize the contributions that we give to society, so that they don't take it for granted anymore. Because if we're supposed to be one human family, then let's not live behind the classifications and the titles, you know, and just be.
just have to be and learn from each other, and it's all good. I mean, that's what it's about, you know.
And the great thing about this interview that with Queer Public Radio, you're going to be heard, you know, in the little parts of the country where people may not have heard of you, and you get the word out there, so people can get out there and get online and get get your new album and get it going.
Thank you so much.
You know, keep you going and make you push up there and let them know that LGBT doesn't, you know, if you're LGBT, you can still be a star. You can, you know. And the music that I create is not for just the gay community; it's for everybody. You know, I'm as an artist first and foremost. I want everybody to enjoy my music. Exactly. You know, not just the LGBT community, but everybody. You know, and so. Just, you know, if you guys love good music, you go out. I would advise your listening audience and your viewing audience to go to iTunes tomorrow. The debut of my album, Human Beings, is tomorrow, and it'll be on May 23rd, and it'll be on iTunes. Thank you so much, and Napster and all those online stores, you know. So please, you know, go out and support. You know, that's all I ask.
Definitely, Tyron Gem, man. And
if you and also if you support gay marriage and gay marriage equality, please go to lovefittobox.webs.com/apps/blog and support this independent film, because it really is going to make a difference in the LGBT community, and not just the LGBT community, but the world, you know, and educating people about, you know, who we truly are, not this, you know, stereotypical perceptions of who we are as a community, you know. Exactly. And they can also go to Facebook and just type in Love Fit to Box and at the search box at Facebook, and you know just press like, you know.
Definitely get involved and support this great cause.
Yes, because this project does need support. It really does need support. We have a lot of funders coming in now, but it still needs support. You know, so whoever would love to support, please, you know, go to visit those places, and we would greatly appreciate it. And I thank you so much for you guys for having me on today.
Oh, thank you. I mean, really, thank you for taking the time, because I'm sure you're busy, and tomorrow you have a really big day.
Yes, I am. I'm trying to just be like calm about it. You know, I don't want to get too I don't want to anticipate anything, because you know I could not get it. You know, of course, as a nominee, you want to win, but I have to always be prepared that I won't win. But you know, it's a huge blessing and honor to just be nominated, you know, and I'm just going to enjoy the moment tomorrow. Yeah. And also I'm going to be at on the 25th of this month. I'm going to be at Iman's here in Manhattan.
Where's that located? Manhattan?
That is I actually have the address.
I don't want to.
Can I bend down?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I don't want to look. Okay. I don't want to look corny like going. Well, Iman's is actually located at 41 Murray Street here in New York City.
Oh, okay.
Iman's is located at 41 Murray Street here in Manhattan.
It's down in the Village, right?
Believe so. Is it?
Murray Street?
I
think it is.
What time do you perform?
This is actually my first time performing there. I'll be about 7 o'clock. Showtime is around 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, yes. And then on the 2nd of June, I'm going to be at the UC Lounge, which is I think it's on Ludlow Street, if I'm not sure.
Oh, Ludlow, down in the Lower East Side.
Yeah, it's Lower East Side. Ludlow?
Lower East Side, yeah.
No, yes, Ludlow. Yeah, 87 Ludlow.
So that's Lower East Side. And that's June 2nd?
Yes, June
2nd and May 25th. Yes. Definitely check out Tyron Gem. And thank you again for coming. I mean,
thank you from the bottom of my heart for having me.
Oh yeah, anytime. You're more than welcome to come.
It's been a blessing to be here.
Yeah, and it was great to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Well, this brings a wrap to our show in honor of Pride Month 2011 from the streets of New York City. Queer Public Radio and BackintheGays.com presents Out Gay and Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011. May 22nd, 2011, with Tyron Gem, nominee for R&B and Soul, LGBT All-Star. Thanks again, man.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Well, that was our interview with Tyron Gem.
out nominated music award.
R&B and soul.
Unfortunately, he didn't win, but he's a winner in all of our hearts. And definitely connect with Tyran Gem and let him know what you think of his music. You can catch him on YouTube, MySpace, Facebook.
ReverbNation.com/TyranGem.
And there too.
Yeah, and he definitely played a major part in our youth special, going out there and speaking to the youth and hearing what the youth had to say, what Pride means to them, which you'll hear in another hour. Well, the next interview is with director from the film Love Fits a Box, writer, producer, Michael Jackson tribute artist J. Moses Harper from MosesHarper.com, MOSES Harper, HARPER.com. Enjoy.
Well, here we are today, June 16th, 2011, Queer Public Radio and BackintheGays.com, out gay and loving it with pride in New York City with J. Moses Harper.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Good. Thank you for taking the time to say hello.
Likewise.
Really?
Definitely welcome.
Right.
And it's a pleasure to finally meet you.
Pleasure is mine.
Well, thank you so much. Well, let's start it off with what section of the South Bronx are you originally from?
Well, I was born in Harlem, but I was raised in Patterson Projects, in the part that they call the Dungeon. That's where I was raised.
Oh, wow. I
And
remember that growing up.
I went to junior high school down there, and then when I graduated junior high school, I went to Bronx Science. Big culture shock, because, Bronx Science, when I went there, was like one of the top high schools in the country.
Yeah, I remember too.
Big culture shock,
Wow.
I went to a school like the junior high school. It was like predominantly black and Latino, and then I went to a school when I went to Bronx Science. There were people that were Asians, there were white kids, there were black kids, there were Caribbeans. It's just like a whole mix. It's like we had kids coming into school with blue hair and spikes and chains, but there was one thing that every kid, that all of us had in common. I noticed the first day when we sat down, everybody shut up and listened to the teacher. Coming from all different backgrounds, but everybody shut up and actually listened to the teacher. And I was like, aha, so I get where,
Yeah.
because it looked so different in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then that first day when I sat down in my first class, I saw that was the difference, because you couldn't do that in the school that I was in.
Yeah, the school that you originally.
No, not in my junior high school.
Yeah, same here. It was really tough to actually learn something.
Yeah, it was hard to concentrate. I had a good foundation. My father was my first educator. By the time I got to kindergarten, I could read and write and script, and I could do everything. By the time I was 4, I was playing chess and just everything.
Wow.
But I had a great foundation.
You had a plan, which was good.
Yeah, I had a great foundation, and at the end of the day, it matters that you try to plan for what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
instead of the things that might be going on around you. Not a lot of money, but good foundation, and with that, you can rebuild.
Yeah, it's amazing, really, that you can actually, once your foundation is strong,
Yeah.
the opportunities are endless.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Really, yeah. Well, we're going to go into the next one. How was it growing up in New York City?
New York is pregnant with talent, for one thing. Anything can happen, but I like the fact that you could find anything in New York. I like that. I like a lot of dimension, color, sound, different kinds of dance, artwork, culture. There are obviously some things that are plaguing some of the lower income neighborhoods, that are saturated with things that are like destroying the neighborhood, like, drugs and violence and all that stuff. And I do take that into account, but my focus tended to be on things that were more enriching and more empowering, to try to drown out some of the noise, not to ignore it, but try to drown out some of the noise, to try to build for that thing that I had in my foundation, that I knew where I was going. So growing up, I don't think I could have grown up in a better place. I know it's dirty. People from out of towners talk about it. That's one thing, it'd be nice to be, more nature,
Yeah.
But okay, fine, go to Central Park, go to
That's
Botanical Gardens,
That's
go to the
it.
Bronx Zoo.
Yeah. We're lucky to even have places like the Bronx Zoo and Botanical Gardens.
Right.
And
Right.
Central Park.
But
Central Park.
you could go to a coffee shop and someone from India will make you a bagel, and and you go outside and get pizza from somebody who came from Africa, and then they're speaking Creole to something like it's spice,
Yeah.
Whether we know it, whether we realize it or not, we really are an example of what we could really accomplish as a society.
Mm-hmm.
What the world could accomplish as a society if we would just live and let live.
Yeah.
I loved growing up in New York. Loved it.
Excellent. When did you start dancing?
Oh boy, everybody asked me that. I was about 2 years old. Everybody asked me that. The first music that I ever heard was Michael Jackson's "Shake Your Body Down to the Ground." Let's dance. Y'all know the song.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
That's the first music I can ever recall hearing in my life.
Wow.
But I was dancing. I was about 2.
Really?
Like break dancing and stuff,
Wow. That's
I
amazing.
guess it took a lot out of you when he passed.
I was indescribably crushed, to say the least. I was indescribably crushed. They say when someone of that magnitude, in Africa they say when a griot dies, it's as if a library has burned to the ground. You know what a griot is? The ones that can tell the whole history of an entire village, of an entire people, like tell every member of the village and tell their whole history.
Advanced virus
When someone with
database
that
has
much
been updated.
talent and that much potential energy and that much to offer passes away, it's as if an entire library is burned to the ground.
Wow.
It's like you can't go to one corner of the earth where they don't know where Michael Jackson is.
That's true.
You can't. I
This is
mean,
true.
if you've seen his video Earth song where he was in the jungles with the Aborigines, those tribal people, those were not actors. And they don't generally just let people in there.
Mm-hmm.
They let Michael in,
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that he's phenomenal. Besides my father, in terms of people, no one has influenced me more than that man.
Yeah, he's powerful. He really is.
Yeah, there was music and then there was Michael,
Yeah. And it was just amazing the kids that
Yeah,
the lives of
he
these kids
he understood
yeah.
that the children held the keys to whatever the future was going to be, because a lot of adults have turned off the possibility of being able to change or transform our current, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you enrich children, if you let them know there can be a whole different reality,
Mm-hmm.
If you let them know there's a whole different possibility that you have the power to create, and that power is in your hands. And when you treat them right,
Mm-hmm.
why wouldn't they want to go with that idea?
Exactly. Yeah, you treat them with respect,
Mm-hmm.
and you just acknowledge them and hear them and listen to them.
Right.
Because hearing and listening are two different
Mhm.
things. And when you actually hear and listen to what they're saying, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, to process it,
Yeah.
because they do have a right to have a voice, even though they're kids, and at the same time, they shouldn't have to pay. At the same time, they shouldn't have to pay for our mistakes. Whatever the state the world is in, they shouldn't have to pay for it. And their childhood is precious, because somewhere along the way, we lose that inexhaustible tendency to want to play and explore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have to remember to do that with discretion as adults, but that tendency to have that sort of mentality where you're not afraid to explore
Mm-hmm.
and to play and to find out and to search, the ones who are able to hold on to that, we label them geniuses. Why? Because they create cars, or they create planes, or they invent things.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that really are able to change our culture.
Yeah, that's a major gift.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Yeah.
When you connect to that,
Right.
and you just are naturally your child, your inner
Right.
child,
Mm-hmm.
and you just bring it where you can actually touch people's lives. I mean, that's a gift.
It is.
That really
Absolutely.
is a gift.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really is. Well, next question to you is, what made you gravitate towards Michael Jackson and his style of dancing?
Wow. Oh boy. Michael, I always say Michael does look like he's doing magic tricks. He doesn't look like he's dancing to me. When Michael dances, it's like every part of his soul is coming out into the dance. It's not just his foot movement. It's not just his arm. It's expression. It's energy. It's, his face, his eyes. Everything is dancing along with you. There's not one part that's inactive. And people don't realize it takes an immense amount of energy for a performer to make their entire body go into alignment with whatever it is, the piece that they're trying to convey. He understood that, and that's a lost art as a whole. People think that if they just pump their pelvis or just shake, and pop it, that's enough, and it really isn't. It really isn't.
It came from within.
Yeah, there's a lot more. There's sweat. There's a story being told and it comes out of every fiber of his being. That's why I gravitated toward it because it looked like pure dance, pure movement. The genre is not necessarily so important to me. It's more the energy, because when you put that type of energy into it, it comes out of your hair. It comes out of everything. Right.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, he was like the evolution of breakdancing and popping and locking. He brought it to a whole nother level.
He did, and see, he didn't close. He would watch. I mean, the Nicholas brothers, Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire, and I've watched old tapes of those guys. Were no joke. Have you ever seen Fred Astaire? Fred Astaire was a fool with his feet. Are you kidding me? But he looked like a child at play when he was dancing. Oh my goodness, when he was dancing.
It just makes my hair stand up. Just even you talking about it.
Yeah. Put him in his little tuxedo thing. But at the end of the day, you could have left him in there, with just some plain pants and just whatever. It's just like the delight in his whole being comes out when he dances. It's not so mechanical. And I think people lose touch with that, and they turn it into something more like just dance moves, and it comes out a little bit more, plastic.
Coordinated.
Right.
And plastic.
Yeah. But it's plastic. It's more plastic. Like there are fundamentals that I practice. I practice all the time, but the energy is what makes it look for real. The energy, that story that I'm telling.
Yeah.
That's what comes out at the end. It really makes it look for real. It's the icing on the cake.
Yeah, and when it comes in, from in the heart,
you
could just feel it.
Yeah,
it's just something that you could just feel.
Right. How many performers can do that? Where you take off the lights and all the drummers and all the backup dancers, and you just leave them there. Michael will knock you out. How many performers can do that?
None that I know of.
Like bring you to tears. But see, that's the whole thing to regain your connection with your art, and not make it so much just about these are the dance moves and the choreography, but more the art of it. Because they have to be married for it to come out the way that brother used to do it. They have to be married. They have to be. Absolutely.
Just amazing, really. And it's amazing how you captured him to a T. Even just talking about it, you could just see that.
Oh boy!
Yeah, you just connected to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of love for artists that put their soul in it. I mean, Art Tatum, great pianist. He put a lot of soul into everything that he did. You can't deny it when it's coming from there. You can't deny it. I don't care what genre it is. They could be singing in Italian. They could be whatever, but it'll just come out beautiful. You can't help but love it.
That's amazing. That really is. I'll tell you, you're an amazing person.
Thank you.
You really are.
I'm just a chick sitting with Cisco and Rob.
You're an inspiration.
Really? Oh my God. Well, how did it feel to perform at the Apollo?
Well, oh boy, the Apollo has a lot of legacy behind it. That stage has a lot of that energy on it. It's not so much the names, but when you go there, you're hungry. And when a performer, especially the performers that have from the past graced that stage, when they go there, they have to be ready, for one, because there's no stage like that in the world. But you're hungry, and when you get on that stage, you pull out every stop that you can to make sure that you survive it.
Well, that audience alone.
Yeah, that audience.
Fierce audience.
Yeah.
That's real right there.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
real talk.
And every night of the week they will let you know. They will let you know. But they demand you to come in in pristine condition. you have to be in the top shape that you can be, and it might not be enough, so you got to go.
Mm-hmm.
But it felt good to feel the legacy there, and also to leave a little bit of my energy on that stage as well, and just to feel like, wow, I was a part of a big legacy, and maybe a little bit of my sweat might be in that little tiny spot right there, and maybe somebody will,
Well, you made history.
maybe somebody will be inspired by it,
Mm-hmm.
But I graciously, I'm so grateful that I got a chance to perform on the stage. I'll be there again July 13th.
Oh, that's great. Excellent.
Yeah.
I know you're going to be doing Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
excellent.
Yeah, I love Michael. Oh, goodness gracious.
Did you ever get to meet him?
No, I never got a chance to meet Michael. He's probably met me now as many times as when I'm on stage now. I try to keep a little picture of him somewhere close by so that I can pretend that he might be somewhere, looking.
That's nice.
I'm sure he probably has
Channeling
better
him.
things to do, but I don't know.
But he had a lot of love, and he loved to
Yeah.
share it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you realized it, but I think he actually passed you the torch. But even without you guys meeting, you could just tell by your moves and just by the love behind your moves that you could tell that,
Well, maybe I don't know. I know I learned. Well, I knew it in concept, but I completely made it a part of myself that not experiencing someone in your five senses, in your presence, not seeing them one on one, or hearing them speak straight to you, or feeling their hand, or tasting their cooking, or smelling their cologne. That doesn't make them real.
That's true.
And his example proved to the world, just by watching people still mourning, proved that you don't have to experience people in their five senses or anything with the five senses in order for it to be real, in order for it to be love. And his fans loved him, and he obviously loved us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he did.
Yeah, and I appreciate the fact that he did the best that he could, because I know he had some rough days. He obviously had some rough days, but he did the best that he could with what he had to try to put a smile on somebody's face and to try to inspire people.
Yeah,
It takes a lot of heart to do that, especially in front of billions of people.
Yeah, just opening yourself up and sharing your art, sharing your talent, sharing your gift. That's a lot in itself. And for him to do that and still be able to impact so many different people's lives, even people like yourself. I mean, children that are growing up that are just now learning about Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And they just, you could see they just want to be like Michael Jackson.
There's something about him, they'll put on, a jacket, but you can't really put your finger on it, but it's something that they're gravitating to. And I think it's that purity that he had with his love of the art and trying to do something to inspire the world to maybe become a better place.
Yeah.
Naturally, a child would be more likely to gravitate towards that,
I think it's because he never finished his childhood, so he always held on to what he could of it, too.
Yeah, I mean, he had a job since he was 5. Like, he died when he was 50. What would you do if you had a job since you were 5 and,
Never had a chance to live, in just a regular life.
Right, and that's the window period where people become inspired or doomed to whatever it is that's going to be their future if they allow that. That's a crucial part of your being. You only get to be a child for a little while, and then it's gone.
Yeah, he was pretty much forced to grow up.
Yeah.
At that point, at 5 years old, having a job at that point.
And I'm not going to say that it was all horrible, but I'll say this: I'm glad that he endured and did what he did and didn't throw in the towel, because I know that sometimes, even from the outside looking in, every now and then I was like, man, yo, do something. I can't take this.
Yeah.
They hurting me by hurting you.
Yeah,
But it's just hard. It's like watching somebody being attacked who really doesn't deserve it. And it's like excessively attacking somebody who really doesn't deserve it. And it's like, what does he do? He sings songs, he dances on stage, and he gives money away to people. Why are y'all bothering him? That's all he does. Even if that's the only part of him you understand. Because I understand the part of him that is his soul and his magic and his inspiration. But from your vantage point, What does he do? He sings, he dances, and he gives money away to a bunch of sick and disenfranchised people. That's all he does. Could you please go find some of the muggers or the rapists, or go find somebody who's blowing up villages. Go find somebody else to bother.
Exactly. Or even look within our government.
I'm saying it's honestly, please go find something better to do.
Yeah, he was unfortunately targeted by the scam artists. You could tell that people that were trying to scam him out of money.
It was about his pockets. It was all about his pockets. But that's common. That's common. A pickpocket, that's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
They can call themselves lawyer or call themselves, judge or call themselves whatever. But a pickpocket is a pickpocket.
Exactly.
And they give the ones who actually carry those titles and do their jobs with dignity, they give them a bad name.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point too.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because that is such a good point.
It is because somebody was talking to me the other day about cops this, cops that, and I was saying a real police officer. Do you know how hard it is to do that job?
Mm-hmm.
The ones that are actually doing their job. You know how dangerous that is?
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a criminal in uniform. I'm talking about a real police officer.
Yeah, where he actually come out to the community and talks to the community. And
Because it takes a lot to do what they do.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because we're still, when we look at the police officer uniform, right away we have a perception of what they are.
Right.
So
they get prejudice against them too.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's actually harder for them to get through to us, even if they are caring or compassionate. It's always harder for them to get through to us because we're always under the assumption that the uniform is above and beyond the personality.
Everybody's going, consider the source, consider the source, consider the source, but you don't. That's a person before that's
exactly. Once they take off the costume at the end of the day, it's a person, it's a soul.
Yeah, it should always be one. You should always treat them like that from the door. Wouldn't you want people to treat you the same way?
Exactly.
Right.
It's no different than what we go through as civilization. Oh God, I can't think of the word. Just people, just out in the street.
Mm-hmm.
We go through the same thing, so they actually have it even worse.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to take ourselves and put ourselves in other people's situations to really connect to,
right.
What we do as people.
Right, right. Now we relate to each other and treat each other, right, and approach.
That's why things like this is important because we actually talk and touch on things that you normally wouldn't touch on.
Absolutely.
This is great. What was the inspiration behind Love Fits a Box?
Oh, wow.
Such a message.
Love Fits a Box. The inspiration behind it was, I just wanted to touch on, I came up with a few concepts, but I wanted to touch on things that people allow to limit their experience, their ability to experience what love really is. Love, because love is only one thing in its purest form. It's not half love or 3/4 of love. It's either agape or it's not. It's either all and, complete or it's not.
There's no in between.
No, there is no in between. Either you love them or you don't. Oh, I love them a little bit. No. Either you love them or you don't. Yeah. And people, unfortunately, continue to, whether we want them to or not, use reasons, use justifications, use whatever, traditions, anything, to stifle their ability to experience it in its purest form. And that's one of the biggest crimes a person can do to themselves, or to try to teach down to someone else, to teach them how to water down their experience and their ability to love. Love Fit to Box has a lot to do with family, as well as the LGBT community. It has a lot to do with the fact that people don't lose their humanity, don't lose the fact that they're actually the same person you loved before you found out that they were gay. They're still that person that you profess to love. And, you can't just conjure up conditions, and the conditions have to be just right before you can actually say, okay, I love you completely. Either you love me completely or you just don't.
You either love me before.
Yeah, you can't manufacture that, you can't, oh, you're my child and I love you so much, but you better not be gay. Or, it's like, what do you mean? But you better not be. I thought you loved me completely, unconditionally. You take a bullet for me, but you won't accept me because I'm what? Are you kidding? It just does. It doesn't add up, and
Doesn't make sense.
the math that people use to justify race, interracial dating, like it just doesn't make sense to justify why. Okay, well, I don't accept that, so I don't want to. No, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Love doesn't do that. Love is too powerful for that. Love doesn't do that. It's too powerful for that. And unfortunately, our tendency to take a more primitive approach has not, has been a bit dominant, and has caused a lot of hate and caused a lot of dysfunction in our families and socially and in our governments. And it's like, enough already. Y'all sound like the people that was trying to tell explorers the world is flat. No, it's not. It's round.
Yeah.
And Love Fits a Box. It is a coming out story about a woman and her brother. The woman comes out as a gay woman, and her brother has been her best friend since they were kids. They are brother and sister, but he's been her best friend since they were kids. And this is the first time that he starts treating her like, wait, what? You're gay? And basically, she has to let him know, I'm still the sister that you loved. I'm still me. And just so that he can see from a different vantage point, just so that he can see, and just before he chooses to judge, see from a different vantage point, this is your sister, and she's still her, regardless of that little detail. Because she is so much bigger than that little detail. Everything that makes her up is so much bigger than that little detail.
That's such a good point, too. That's such a minute part of view.
Right. Because the real her is bigger than the earth upon which she lives.
Yeah.
Much less that little detail that you're paying attention to that has nothing to do with him or anybody else except for the one that she's with.
Exactly.
Right.
Behind closed doors a lot of the times. Because once you leave the house, it's not like a transgender person where they could actually, they can turn it off. But with gays and lesbians, we can actually not turn it off, so to speak, but it's more behind closed doors, where it's either a mannerism or something that someone catches. With transgender people, they live it, breathe it. The minute they leave their house, it's the look. They're judged all the time. So it's good that you're bringing that out as far as a lesbian. What happens when you're a lesbian? Going through with your family, because people connect with the similarities. Whether you're gay, straight, bisexual, transgender, there's still similarities too.
We touch on the transgender.
That's good.
We touch on it too.
That's good, because that's so important.
Yeah. Well, I had to, because there's so much dimension to the gay community. There's so many stories, like you guys were saying. There's so many stories that have been untold because people have been judged from the door. And it's funny, somebody was asking me this other day, I interviewed a lot of people about their experience. Just their experience growing up, walking down the street, trying to get a job, going through school. And some of the things that I've heard were completely horrifying. But these were things that needed to be said that people don't know. People are being ridiculed. People are facing hate crimes. Our rights are being, are biased, all because of a person's sexuality. Are you kidding?
It's crazy.
Are you kidding? So what? The couple that sleeps together, that's two males, don't get to vote the same way as the straight couple? Why don't we just say that? But at the same time, the tax dollars that the two gay males pay to the government go to the judges that go and marry the straight couples that get married. What do? Do you get a tax write-off or something for that because you don't get to get married? The whole thing with the don't ask, don't tell thing in the military, which I'm glad. I think we're in unison with that. Because a friend of mine, Rob Smith, he's writing a memoir on it. He actually makes an appearance in the film. But
the film Love Fits a Box.
Yeah, he's making a cameo appearance in the film. But the question to me when I was a kid was, doesn't a gay person take a bullet the same way that a straight person would? Like, if the enemy's coming, like, what?
It's not like the enemy's going to say, "Stop, you're gay. Let me shoot you harder."
Yeah, it's like,
you know.
it's like. I mean, me personally, I'd be like, okay, well, if the firefighter who's coming in to pull me out of the flames is gay, I think I'm gonna tell him to go back downstairs. No, you don't do that.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
It's like they don't function as a complete human being because of their sexuality. This voids their masculinity or voids her femininity or voids her right to be able to decide that she wants to be in this occupation, or there are 39 states in this country where you can still be fired if you're gay. Like, huh? Are you serious?
Unfortunately,
it's not about your qualifications. It's about who you were sleeping with last night. Are you kidding me?
Unfortunately, that's the way it is.
Right, and it still sounds to me like, okay, someone's trying to convince the explorers that the world is flat, and it really isn't. It's like, okay, enough already.
Yeah, it's very, very true. And that's why at some point we actually have to take charge of our own community. We can't keep relying on convincing the straight community that they have to accept us. We actually have to accept ourselves and start within our foundation, like we mentioned earlier. And once we do that, then we could actually share with the rest of our community.
Right.
And we could all come up the ranks, so to speak, together.
Absolutely.
And before you know it, the straight people are actually following, because they see how much love and aspirations we see for ourselves as a community. They will follow.
Right.
It's just like anything. If it's music, someone may frown at music, but they see that there's so much love behind it that they end up following eventually, because they see that love.
Yeah.
They connect with the spirit, the soul that came with it.
Right.
And it's no different with our community.
Right.
We have to do the same thing.
Yeah. My dad used to tell me, if you stand up for who you are and what you believe in, your enemy will respect you more. Even your enemy will respect you more. And I tell the kids that I mentor, I tell them, if you back you, if you endorse you, that's when other people will follow. When you endorse you, and the gay community. I mean, I know that there's all the dancing and going out on dates and festivities, and that's cute and everything. But it's in large, it sort of gets, the gay community gets looked at as a freak show, and it really isn't. It really isn't. These are people with jobs. They have aspirations. They teach. They inspire. They create. They contribute to the society. They live, breathe, sleep, and gonna die just like everybody else. Live and let live already.
That's it. Yeah, and a lot of the visionary stuff comes from our community.
Yeah. A
lot of the stuff that actually that paves the way for what society takes for granted comes from our community.
Thinking outside of the box, because it takes a lot of heart to think outside of the box. I was talking to a designer, Letitia McFarland, the other day, and thinking outside of the box is one of the things that I was addressing. Like, how do you come up with these concepts? And I was thinking about what she was telling me, and I was like, wow, it's like in that art form, as in any art form, you don't have much of a lifespan if you have a box mentality, because you'll stunt your growth and you'll crumble.
Yeah.
When you can think outside of your box, the possibilities are endless.
You just keep evolving.
Right.
You keep evolving.
Right, and it takes a lot of heart just for a person in the gay community to be who they are, regardless of what's going on around them. That's outside of the box. Period. Right there. And that's not just something that's incidental. When it becomes a way of life, the doors of creativity are able to be opened. Not necessarily being gay, but the whole approach to, I'm not going to leave myself in a box, no matter how much opposition I have. But not just limited to my sexuality. To that. It's a mentality. And I can understand why there's a tendency for individuals in the gay community to come up with concepts and creations and ideas and things that are new and revolutionize the arts,
Yeah, that's important right there. Yeah. And getting out of your comfort zone. That's like sort of not being that closed box.
Right.
When you step out of your comfort zone,
right.
It, on top of that, leaves you open to the possibilities of.
Right.
And then you're able to share that with different people. And before you know it, everything starts falling into place, and you feel almost like a Jedi. You got that glow to you, and people can see that glow to you, and people are receptive to that glow because you just that powerful individual.
Yeah.
You know, stepping out of your comfort
Yeah,
zone.
this universe is infinite. There's so much to explore. There's so much to see. There's so many things to ponder.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what you would come up with. You
Even
know?
emotions. There's so many different emotions that we have yet to experience that
Mhm.
we're still experiencing daily.
Mhm.
And that's why it's important to connect with the youth.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, really, because then
Mhm.
when you actually open yourself up to them, they see that we're more similar than we are different. And life is a bowl of similarities more than it is about the differences that we have been fed.
Hmm. You know, it's funny because even though and I always say this, every last one of us is completely different. There's different proportions of this, and that to make you up, but it's still coming under the same bowl.
Yeah.
You know, it's different proportions of that and this and that to make you a completely different person as a whole. But it all came from the same place. You know,
Yeah.
it all came from the same place. You know, the same creator who made him, made you, made me, made them. It's the same, you know, the same creative juices, the same infinite mind. You're a part of, you're an extension of that same imagination. So as different as you might feel, guess what? Everyone who's ever been born has been completely different.
Mhm.
Different proportions of the same little ingredients, but still, we're all different.
Yeah.
So join the club. We got jackets.
That's it. Well, like China O'Callaghan said on Christopher Street when we were out the first day, she said that we are cut from the same cloth. And she hit the nail on the head right there. We are all cut from the same cloth. We just happen to have that little different dynamic that makes us these individuals. But we're all born with the same senses. You know, we're all born with the same intentions. We're born open-minded, actually. We're just brainwashed to think.
We're taught to, right, exactly.
You know, and that
Taught
all
to
comes
fear.
from... Yeah, exactly. So when can we expect Love Fits a Box to make its premiere?
We're looking at winter, November or December of 2011.
Excellent, for the holidays.
Yeah, the trailer is being shot on Monday.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
excellent. That's what's up.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
And what an important week too, the start of Pride Week.
Yeah.
Leading up to Pride. That's great.
Yeah, I have to say I'm getting a lot of encouragement. Queer Black Cinema, I'm getting encouragement from everywhere. They have a festival. I think the submission has to be in June 30th. I'm not going to be in time for that, but they specialize in showcasing films that aren't the normal fluff. But, you know, cinema's one of my favorite things anyway, just telling stories. But I'm getting a lot of support from Rob and Cisco.
And Tom.
Cisco and Rob and Tom. I don't know you. I don't know where you are, Tom, but the next time I come through, you better be here, man.
He's actually based out of Seattle.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually talk on Skype. And
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to connect with him. Also, Samson McCormick. He is he's going to make a appearance in the film as well. He is a openly gay activist and comedian who tours nationwide.
Oh wow.
And well, the film has a comedic edge to it. So it's more, you know, because we're trying to make sure that we can get all audiences, you know, not just our one audience. We want everybody to be able to sit down and not take it so seriously, because really, it really isn't that serious. And he adds a dynamic to the film that is astronomical. Like, I can't wait to see this boy. Actually, he'll be up for Pride this week.
Oh really? Cool.
Samson McCormick, you gotta look him up online. He's a riot.
Definitely will. Yeah, that's amazing right there.
Yeah, he is a riot. You will love him, and I'm getting love from Rivers of Honey is an extension of the Wow Theater Cafe, on West 4, 59 West 4. They have shown me so much love. They have a wonderful theater space, and they put on productions. Black Girl Ugly is playing there right now. Just women's experiences and just the experience in the queer community. Just a lot of love, a lot of encouragement, a lot of encouragement and love where you wouldn't think that there would be any.
We all need.
Yeah. And all in all, that is what we need. And you know, everybody that's been encouraging me, I've been, because I interview everybody who's been encouraging me. They all have one thing in common: they're talking to the youth, which that is crucial. That's crucial because there are new generations being born, growing up, and they're going to have to face this again because at the end of the day, they might be born into society. Like I wasn't born into a community that was straight, that was gay. I was born into a straight community. They need to know that they have support somewhere. They need to know that they have support and that they can express. Even in the arts, there are arts programs that are being set up, mentoring programs that are being set up from our community. And I think that's crucial because when a child starts to hate themselves, when they start to hate themselves, that's one of the biggest crimes that can take place. It ruins a human being. It's like, what kind of future are they going to have if they hate themselves and want to limit themselves and limit their experience as a whole because it's not good enough? Because at the end of the day, what the reality is, when you are being you to the best of your ability at any given time, it is more than enough. Because whoever you are, it will never happen again. It hasn't happened before. It won't happen again. It's just you. Be the most potent you that you can be, whatever that is. And there is nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. As long as you don't sacrifice self, there's nothing wrong with it.
Right, right.
Never sacrifice self.
Right. You can't sacrifice yourself because it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. You can't avoid you can choose to pretend that you're not who you are, but you're still going to be who you are.
Exactly.
One question that I keep getting is the whole thing about, what's the whole gay pride about? And I had to be really frank with someone the other day. I said, it's not about a bunch of people, dressed up and saying, I'm proud I'm gay, I'm proud I'm gay. To the experience that I've had it's been more about, I'm not proud that I'm gay. I'm proud that I'm not ashamed of who I am. I'm proud that I'm not ashamed of who I am.
And that's what it's about.
That's what it's about. It's not about, I'm proud I'm gay and you need to be gay too, or let us convert you. It's not about that. It's, I'm proud that with all of the opposition, with all of the, violence, with all that's going on, with all of the inequalities that are being inflicted, I'm proud that I'm not going to hide and pretend and limit who I am as an individual to try to please you. That's what I'm proud of. I'm proud that I'm not ashamed of who I am.
That's excellent. Listen up, kids, because this is real right here. I mean, really, you're hitting the nail on the head on so many different aspects.
Yeah, you have to walk your path. Your parents, that take care of you, they love you. That's great, and always respect them. I'm not telling people to be disrespectful, and I don't think that the parents should be disrespecting their children either. But don't disrespect your parents. But just because they're your parents, they don't have the right to. You're not a robot. You were made completely different from everybody else. As long as you respect and love yourself, I wish somebody would try to tell you not to, and that whoever you honestly are is not good enough. Because who you are, you can't. That's who you are. One of the things that we say in the film is, the woman says, I'm gay, and I can't even do anything about it. I could lie, I could pretend. I could lie about it. But when is that, where's that going to lead? You can't lie about that. You can live your whole life pretending that you're something that you're not. And that won't lead you anywhere.
That's exactly
And whatever kids that are listening right now, I want you to know, y'all are not alone. There are so many people from all different walks of life, backgrounds. We get feedback from Kenya. We get feedback from Chile, from the UK, from Italy, from Canada, from all over the world, from youth and adults that are going through the same thing, the same insecurities, the same stuff that's being thrown at them, being ridiculed, being bullied, all this stuff. I'm telling you right now, it takes more heart for you to be who you are than for you to shrivel up and to conform to something that you are not. It takes more heart, and in the long run, it builds character and it will make you stronger. And you'll get through it. Whatever it is, you'll make it through it.
That's another good point too. It's easier to conform, and it's always harder to be a leader. But in the long run, when you're a leader and you're actually truthful to yourself, the rewards are endless. And it doesn't have to be monetary value. It doesn't have to be the almighty dollar. It can be that you're surrounding yourself around good people. You know, that's just as much of a reward as the almighty dollar.
More. It takes more heart to do it.
Exactly.
It really does.
Yeah.
You know, it takes more heart to do it. You can knock any obstacle down. If the obstacles outweigh your will to live, part of you deserves to die. What are you saying? You deserve to die? You don't.
Exactly.
You deserve to live. You're not an accident. You're not a mistake. The same creator that made everybody else made you. You are not a mistake. You're not an error. You are priceless. You won't happen again. This is it. We're blessed that we were, you know, that we have you, you know.
Yeah.
We're blessed that we have the privilege of being able to know who you are. You're an extension of the Creator's imagination. Remember that.
Exactly.
Remember that.
That's such a good point. I mean, we have to say that you're the first person that has nailed what pride means to you and what message you would have for the youth of today, all in one breath, all in one, you know,
without us even asking the question.
Without us even asking the question.
Really?
And that's amazing. That right there shows your love
for what you do, what you
for
stand
what you do,
for,
and
what you've been brought up with.
Yeah.
The good upbringing that you've had.
Thank you.
It's a gift.
Thank you. I mean, that's for all people that are disenfranchised. I mean, people who wish they could get married and they can't, or you know, they can't get employed, or you know, the single mothers out there that are going through it with their kids. Anybody who is struggling right now, just know that the real essence of you, your heart, your character, is what will get you through, and it's much bigger than whatever the hurdles are. And never apologize for being who you are at your core. You know, some of the actions you might take, maybe some of the actions you may have wanted to change around, but who you are at your core, never apologize for that, because you can't even help that. You can't even help that. And I really think that's been the experience that I've had. That's what pride has really been about.
That's excellent. Never underestimate the power of you. Never conform to what society wants us to conform. Never sacrifice you. Never ever sacrifice you. Always be true to thyself. Be yourself.
Yeah. You can live in harmony with this, with your society. You can live in harmony with your family, with society, with the government, everything. You can live in harmony with them, but never. What are you going to do? Take out and erase a piece of you? You're going to ask 2/3 of you to stay outside while the rest of you runs around and tries to live your life? It doesn't make it's not designed that way. That's not how it's supposed to be, and nobody can deny you that right. Every breath that you're breathing in, that's a blessing. That's proof. There's only one source that can give that to you, and that same source is giving your enemies the same breath. So if you still getting breath, there's a reason for you to be here.
Exactly.
You know,
So
don't shut it up. You know, don't shut it up. Don't disrespect. But disrespecting starts again in your core. When you disrespect yourself, that's when you start disrespecting others. When you start shutting yourself down. Do you know how many people that I interviewed who, I mean, they're out now, but they were bullies to gay people when they were in junior high school or high school, because they were hating themselves and lashing out at other people who were strong enough to just be who they were.
Yeah.
You know? And it just blows my mind, because a lot of it stems from that.
Yeah.
A lot of it stems from that. People who are insecure themselves, who would rather just beat down somebody who's strong enough to be themselves, because it's too scary. It's like a reminder, a living reminder of this is what it would look like if you were being you to the best of your ability.
I was one of those people, so I have to agree. You were so right.
Really?
I was really one of those people. And that's one of my personal missions, is to more have people understand more the whole DL thing, because it comes with the whole DL thing.
Yeah.
You know, we dub it under one culture, but it's really a bunch of different cultures actually doing the same thing under different classification title. And that's something that really has to be tackled, because once you're comfortable within yourself, all those hate actions that come along with you not being truthful to yourself will be basically out.
Right.
That won't even exist.
Right.
In society or even within yourself. So something as little as being truthful to yourself could actually help society get to where society needs to be, understanding.
Absolutely.
You know? And
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, you're powerful.
No, it's not. See, y'all say it's me. It's not me. It's just the concept. It's not being scared enough to look at the concept for what it is when you see it, when you stumble upon it. And it is very powerful to know that at any given moment you can. That's a lot of power. That's a lot of responsibility that, oh no, you don't have to be this formula that you see on TV, which again, TV entertainment, it all has its place, but you don't have to be that specifically. You can create it as you go. That's a lot of, wow, that's a lot of power. So I can pick that. Those little things I can pick. I can create and mix and match and do this, that, and the other. You'll stay you from your core. How far you want to take that is always going to be up to you.
Exactly. So true. So true. Well, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for inviting me.
Really having such a message and just sharing your gift, because you have such a gift more connecting with what's important and what people have led us to believe what's not important. You are connected with what's important, and that's a gift within itself. So it is you because you're sharing your connection of your gift, and that's important.
Thank you.
On top of putting it into a movie where you can share it during Christmas. Love Fits a Box this Christmas.
Yeah, we can't wait for that.
Yeah, that's important, right?
Very important.
Especially during Christmas time.
Yeah.
Where people are looking for monetary gifts, and you're actually giving a gift of message. That's beautiful.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it without. I have a hell of a cast and a great team behind me. I mean, some of the cast, some of the straight actors. I have a comedian, Rashad Bashir. I have Christina Hanotu. I have Olali Ledlam. I have Mo Lorena. I have so many great actresses. Kristen Harmon.
Remember them because you're
Natafa Dewan. I have so many wonderful, wonderful people that are part of this, and they put a lot of time and energy into this. God, they're going to kill me. They were trying to call me earlier. And Letitia McFarland. I have so many great people that are part of this.
Well, you're all here in spirit.
Yeah, my cast has really been my backbone. I have to thank my producer, Dre Cleveland, for being behind the scenes and putting in a lot of sweat effort. A lot of people that have been helping me are people that I haven't even seen yet. People who have been liking it and just liking it on Facebook. Love Fit to Box. Like it on Facebook, guys. Love Fit to Box. Like it on Facebook.
Facebook.com/LoveFitToBox. Definitely check it out.
Or you can go to lovefittobox.webs.com, .webs.com. We need all the support that we can get, but a lot of the faces that have been helping and sending their genuine sentiment are faces that we haven't seen them yet, but we're hearing a lot of great, go, rah, 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 get them, like they just want to see it,
Yeah.
They're really excited about it.
As are we, really.
Really, definitely.
And don't forget to give them your personal website also.
MosesHarper.com, www.mosesharper.com. Yes, I'm a girl. No, it's funny when people say, oh, you're going to meet Moses Harper in a second. They think that it's an old Jewish guy. It's the cutest thing. And I step in and it's like, they're like, wait a minute, that's not an old Jewish guy. It's completely the opposite.
Well, this is a wrap. QueerPublicRadio.com and BackintheGays.com. Out Gay and Loving It with Pride with J. Moses Harper.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Out Gay and Loving It with Pride in New York City. Spotlighting and showcasing what New York City has to offer.
The world
within our LGBT community. Yeah, thank you again.
That was such a great interview with J. Moses Harper. She left such a message to just about everything. Wow, it was a long interview, but seemed so short. She had so much to say, so many important messages to the adults, to the youth, to people that are just against the LGBT community, just stuff that the youth can learn from, and her new movie that'll be coming up, Love Fit the Box.
Yeah, she was an amazing person. She touched on so many different things in 55 minutes. I mean, she's just left such an impression, and it's great that she's going to share the film Love Fits Box with us.
Christopher Street. It's the oldest street in the West Village section of Manhattan, New York City. During the late 1700s, this was when Christopher Street received its name, when the land was acquired by the Charles Christopher Amos. You can see his name in a few areas of the West Village. Charles Street would be one, Christopher Street would be the other, and 10th Street also bore his name, Amos, at one time. At that time, Christopher Street only went west to what we now know today as Weehawken Street, which was laid out in 1829, and is the shortest street in the West Village. Not too long after the city continued to fill the landfill its way north up the Hudson River and created a man-made extension of Christopher Street that became West Street. Christopher Street was the first New Jersey pass stop in Manhattan on the 33rd Street line into Midtown Manhattan. The street also has another station on Broadway, 7th Avenue, and the 1 and 2 line at Christopher Street Park in Sheridan Square. Some notable residents of Christopher Street was E. Cummings, poet, lived here at 11 Christopher Street in 1918. Dick Francis, science fiction illustrator, lived at 105 Christopher Street. Rosemary Harris was an actress. She lived at 77 Christopher Street. Philip Seymour Hoffman, actor, lives on Sheridan Square, which is right at 7th Avenue where Christopher Street and everything comes together. Sally Kirkland also lived on Christopher Street at 84 Christopher. Catherine Pritchard, an educator, lived at 91 Christopher. Some other people, William Poole, New York City gang member of the Bowery Boys, who you might remember from that famous movie of The 5 Points. William Poole was the butcher, and he did live on, of the famous member of the Bowery Boys, and he lived on Christopher. Yoko Ono also lived at 87 Christopher. Amy Sedaris also lived on Christopher. And Ted White, an author and editor, lived at 105 Christopher. 1969 was the year that Christopher Street saw history being made when the Stonewall riots broke out and the gay liberation movement began. In the 70s, during the sexual revolution, Christopher Street was the main drag, no pun intended, for gay men to profile and cruise. This was a time when the gay bars were popping up on every other corner, and leather fetish clothing stores were also becoming more and more visible on Christopher Street. During the 1980s, this all changed drastically because of the onslaught of AIDS. And then to the late 1980s, things started moving above 14th Street to Chelsea, which is when Christopher Street started losing its pop, its wow, and basically what it is today.
Well, today we're going to share with you the 5 different days that we actually took it to the streets and spoke to different youth on Christopher from the West Side Highway all the way up to 7th Avenue. And we did it with different people, and I also even did it by myself. You know, I went out there one night and went out there and listened to everyone. But the first day we went out with Andre J. from AndreJWorldwide.com. And he was the first gay African American male to grace the cover of French Vogue. Paris Vogue. Yeah, Paris Vogue. And he achieved that by being himself. You know, there was no other formula to Andre J but being himself. So we did it day 1 on Sunday, June 5th with Andre J, Rob, my lover of 18 years, and myself. And we ended up talking to this youth named Jay. We actually asked all youth to use an alias just to make sure that we weren't trying to violate their privacy, or it wasn't about their name, or even give them problems at home or in the neighborhood or anything like that. We just wanted to hear their voice and what the kids had to say out there, because, you know, it's something that's been going on as long back as I can remember, and even longer than that.
that we've had these children out on the street. So we did come up on the first youth. His name was Jay.
Yeah, he was with this older man and this other younger youth. And the first impression was that it looked like a pimping kind of situation, you know, where they were doing something that they didn't want to do. They just they had to do it to survive because, of course, everything, you know.
One term of it is called hustling.
Yeah.
And it seemed like that was the direction it was going in. And hustling is very prevalent on the lower part of Christopher Street. It has been for years, and, you know, it
continues.
Days back in the 70s when the piers were there. The pier is still there, but now it's more of a recreation pier. So it's still going on out there.
Yeah, so we walk up on him, and we happen to start talking to Jay. So here's Jay with Andre J, Rob, and myself. Day 1, June 5th.
Well, here we are, the first day of recording our show for Christopher Street Youth. Out Gay and Loving It with Pride, June 5th, 2011, queerpublicradio.com and BackintheGays.com. We're out here with...
Hey, I'm Jay.
Jay, nice to meet you, Jay.
Nice to meet you too.
Well, we're out here today trying to compile what does Pride mean to the youth today so that we can see what you guys need as individuals and also as a community and see what differences we can make in 2011 and beyond, because you guys will be the next pioneers and activists. And if we don't communicate to you, like I'm 39 years old, and if I don't take the time to listen to what you say, then we're never going to get anything that we should be getting now in 2011 and in the future.
Yeah.
So that's what we're out here trying to compile 2 minutes or less of what Pride means to you. And what does Pride mean to you in 2011?
Pride,
being from Brooklyn and being gay.
Pride for me is just about, you know, not hiding who I am. All parts of my identity, just being open about it and representing, you know, my gayness or, you know, being African American or whatever other community I come from, just open and just being, you know, not hiding or just embracing it and being.
That's excellent. Yeah, leaving yourself open.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Living a life and not worrying about what anyone has to say about me, but just being like proud of myself and accepting myself, and whoever else doesn't accept me, that's them.
And what message would you send to your brothers and sisters that are also in the same situation, that are youth right now? What would you say to them?
Well, especially out here, I would just say stay focused. Stay, you know, positive minded. It's easy to get distracted. I know it's especially hard, but you know, nothing's impossible. You stay focused and you stay motivated. You can do anything.
That's excellent. Yeah, and keep yourself around good people, because good people will get you there, and will get the message out there.
Positive people, yes.
Yeah, that plays a major part. Well, thank you for taking the time today to let us know what Pride means to you here at 2011 on Christopher Street, New York City, and representing your voice, because it's very, very important that we hear your voice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, we remember that day like it was yesterday, even though it was only a couple of weeks or a week and a half ago.
I mean, it was our first interview, and it didn't really take much to stop and talk to this child, basically. I mean, he's, you know, he's in his teen years, which is the toughest years, and he's not having comfort at home being who he is, and he has to basically escape from the section of the city he's in to come to the West Village, and anymore he's not even feeling welcome there. More vulnerable than anything.
Yeah, and we saw actually the younger youth that was with them and the older man, and they walked away when we were talking to him, actually, really respectfully, never said anything, just walked away very quietly. And we saw them actually later on 7th Avenue North, closer to the LGBT Center. And we saw them at Subway, and we saw the two that walked away, and we didn't see Jay. So we honestly think that we deterred something, you know, and stopped.
You know, hopefully we averted something that could have led to something worse. Yeah, may have given him some cash in his pocket, but at what cost? Health-wise, mental-wise, just anything. So I mean, I don't know if we did or didn't, but he wasn't with them at the time, so I think that was a good sign.
It was a very good sign, and we felt great about it because we just shared. And
Andre J said he had a moment he felt like he did accomplish something that day, because this was later in the day. We had other interviews, which we have another interview coming up.
yeah, we continued our way up towards Weehawken, and we passed the Rock Bar on Christopher Street between Weehawken and Washington, and we see these two youth named Philly Gaga and Eddie, and they were hanging out together. And Philly Gaga originally wanted to use profanity. He wanted to curse.
But Andre J interjected and said, you don't really need to use vulgar language to get your point across. And this is your way of getting your voice out there. So you can refrain from that and still get your point across. That's what it was all about.
Yeah, and it was great how he originally wanted to do that and the message that came across. This is Philly Gaga.
So here we are today on our first show, June 5th. We're out here on Christopher Street, New York City, with the youth, seeing what Pride means to them in 2011. And hopefully we can make a difference in catering to what the youth need today from so many different aspects. And here we are today with
Philly, Gaga.
Nice to meet you. But we're out here trying to see what Pride means to you. And what does Pride mean to you today in 2011?
In 2011, I think Pride means that young gay people won't be forced out onto the streets because their parents kicked them out for being gay anymore. And they won't have to do things that they don't want to survive. I think that's what this Pride should be about, and about moving that agenda forward rather than worrying about what the heterosexual community thinks about us. I think this Pride should be about us building ourselves up within our own community.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And we have to do it with each other. I mean, it takes a family and a community to make a difference. It really does. There's no I in team, and we have to do it in numbers.
That's what I think.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Such a message. And to your fellow brothers and sisters, what would you say to them as far as inspiration, advice, or, view yourself? I mean, anything.
Stop reading each other. We need to work as a team. Stop reading each other. Love each other. We're all we got.
That's it. And listen to each other, because we can learn from each other. If we take the time and energy to actually listen to each other, we'll learn, if not about ourselves, we'll learn about each other, and that's, just take the time and energy to do that. Well, thank you today. I appreciate you taking the time and doing this for us. QueerPublicRadio.com and BackintheGays.com. Outgain, loving it with Pride in New York City. What does Pride mean to you? Thank you again.
That was a strong message to the youth out there and to the elders out there.
And this was a teenager that wanted to originally use profanity, and he just blew us away with his message. And all it takes is for us to listen to each other and just go in there and listen to the youth, talk to the youth. A lot of the times, when we went down there, it was open arms.
It's taking notice of them. They're not just these invisible little people that run around down there. They're not necessarily looking for trouble. They're just being kids and
trying to survive.
Trying to survive because their families have kicked them out and are not accepting, and their religion is not accepting. So of course then their parents are not accepting.
They just need some direction. We all need some direction. There's some older people that they need direction, and it's just a number that documents our life. So we just set that aside and see that we all need direction at some point, and we have to remind ourselves that we should listen to each other. We'll grow from this, and this was a great experience going out there. And his friend Eddie was just as touching and had a great message.
Who was an artist also. So there's a lot of creativity out there. Like J. Moses Harper said, the city is pregnant with talent. And it's they're all ready to give birth, but they just have to be given a chance. So let's, I guess, listen to that interview with Eddie.
Yeah, this is Eddie.
Well, we're here today, first day, on our show, Out Gay and Loving It with Pride, for queerpublicradio.com and BackintheGays.com. Out Gay and Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011. And we're seeing today, on June 5th, what Pride means to the youth on Christopher Street in New York City. And we're here with
Eddie.
And we want to see what Pride means to you today in 2011 in New York City, personally.
Personally, for me, I think Pride is all about expressing the creativity like you hid from the rest of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even coming out and being rejected. It takes a lot of courage to go through something like that. So here's a parade that celebrates that courage for people like around the world, and I think it's a beautiful thing, and I fully support Pride.
That's excellent. Such a message there. But I hope we can really connect later on and do something in the future.
Absolutely, I'd love to.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you so much. And what would you want to say to your brothers and sisters out there that are younger? What message would you want to say in June, Pride?
Just be you. Just be everything you wanted to be and more.
That's so great. Well, thank you for taking the time for our show, and we look forward to hearing you on the 19th on our show. And I hope you call up and let us know what Pride means to you then and after, and hopefully we could do something in the future and work together, do something for the youth. Thank you for taking the time.
For sure.
Thanks. Thank you so much, seriously, for letting me into the world. Just stopping, it's a lot. Okay, so it's just the same deal. Yeah, and your alias. It's all cool about the alias. Once again, it's not about your information, about your message.
Eddie had a lot to say. He thinks it's still important. The parade, the festivals, we have to remind everybody.
Yeah, Eddie and Philly Gaga were just two great kids with great messages, and you could tell they weren't living on the high end, but you could tell they were keeping their head up, and they had each other. It was the start of their extended family, basically. They had something special to say, and they shared it with us, and stopping was courage in itself. So it was nice. It was a great experience.
So after that, we were moseying on up Christopher Street and seeing who else we could talk to, and we come across China Okazi. China Okazi's been seen in CNN and Fox News. I thought it was interesting that here she is chatting with us.
Well, she noticed Andre J.
Yes.
Andre J. has that effect on people. So his glow, his message, and his happiness. So she noticed him, and here's her message, China Okazi.
Well, here we are on June 5th, 2011, with
China Okazi.
Oh, nice to meet you, China. Nice name.
Thank you.
Well, we're here on Christopher Street, and we want to know what Pride means to you in 2011.
I think Pride means being comfortable with yourself and being comfortable with yourself in the world, and giving other people the grace and courtesy to be comfortable with themselves as well. So in terms of, bullying other people, putting other people down, making them feel bad about themselves, I think that's the antithesis of Pride, because it's just a projection of how uncomfortable you are with yourself, So I think the key thing with Pride is comfort, it's love. I think all of those things are related to Pride.
Wow, that's excellent. That's such a message. It really, really is. What would you tell the youth today? What would personal message that you would send to the youth personally in New York City and globally, worldwide?
I would say think of other people as an extension of yourself. Treat everyone as though the person is cut from the same cloth you were cut from. Treat everyone as though you share a mother, you share a father, you share a world, really, because we're all sort of connected in that way. And it's our responsibility to take care of each other, No matter who we are, it's our responsibility to look out for one another and be there for each other and be strong with each other.
That's amazing. Amazing message. Really, thank you, seriously. And that comes from the heart, seriously. It's an amazing message. And I thank you today for taking the time. QueerPublicRadio.com and BackintheGays.com, taking it to the street. Out gay and loving it with pride in 2011. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You guys are doing a good job.
She had such a message. She just blew us away.
And you could hear Andre J in the background going, "Thank you."
Yeah.
It's just fabulous. I'm so glad that Andre could be there that day with us to talk with so many people and
The youth and connect with, yeah.
that street to connect. I mean, we even met up with Roll Arena that day, and we kind of saw the anger of the elder LGBT community coming through. That, you know, it seems like they're not wanting to take the time to be receptive of the youth. They kind of forget where they came from.
And forget that they were youth at one time.
But she did say, you know, some very important information, some good stuff that, you know, that we do have to talk about, some people that had died. But, you know, this is about the ones that are living. And this is about the ones that need the help now.
Exactly.
So, you know, we love you, Roll Arena, but you need to open your eyes a little wider.
Yeah, because they are our next pioneers and activists. And if we actually neglect and continue to neglect our part in our evolution and our growth locally here, we're never going to be the role models that we should be globally, culturally, and community. So it's important that we not be angry and actually be a little bit more receptive to listening to each other. You don't have to be an adult to speak to another elder adult. You know, you should be able to speak to each other and listen to each other regardless of age, because we can all grow and learn from each other, and we can learn from the youth. That's what we learn going out there, right?
Well, you know, just after scolding all those LGBT out there, we're going to talk about day 2 now.
Day 2.
Day 2, I wasn't there because I have other obligations and I was asleep that evening. But Cisco went out there and hit Christopher Street. It was a difficult night. There's a lot of police activity now, police on horseback. And, you know, at 1 o'clock, the pier's closed, so the kids really have nowhere to go. They're sneaking back onto the pier to sleep. I mean, it's sad. These kids don't know what to do. It's only that they feel like that's their only safe place, even though being on the street is never safe. And then sitting on a pier is never safe either. But, you know, that's for them, that's their home. So Cisco went out there again on that Monday, June 6th, and this is...
It was intense. The police activity really fueled the fire to the way the youth are. And this was Monday, June 6th. First was April. And here we have April.
Here we are today on the second day on Christopher Street, June 6, 2011. QueerPublicRadio.com and BackintheGays.com, out gay and loving it with pride in New York City, June 2011. And here we are with...
April.
Nice to meet you, April.
No problem.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, being from New York and New York City, 2011, what does pride mean to you as an individual?
As an individual, a chance and a place to come out and express, you know, creativity, freedom, you know, my sexuality without being judged, without being stared upon or stereotyped, you know, a chance for us to come out here and be free and really you know, meet and unite with some of the people.
That's excellent. Yeah. So be yourself, basically.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And what would you want to say to your brothers and sisters out here in Christopher Street and also worldwide being in the same situation as far as acceptance? What would you want to send to them as far as a message?
One of the things that was really like a big issue, and I know this is that, you know, more as so of men, I feel like if this is something that you want to do, like, you know, be with a man, then it's something that you shouldn't be afraid to pursue, because there's a lot of cases where, you know, happy homes are being broken up because men are with married women, or, you know, they're married with children and they're not being true to themselves or to their wives. So I feel as, you know, it's nothing wrong with being gay, lesbian, transgendered. You know, if that's something that you feel that you are happy doing, then you should pursue doing it and be truthful to everyone. Because once you're truthful, then that positivity comes back to you. You know, once you give out the negativity of, you know, putting up a lie, it all backfires on you, and eventually, you know?
It's so true.
Yeah, so, you know, just be yourself and don't be afraid to be yourself.
That's a good message. It really, really is.
Yeah, don't be afraid to be yourself. Just really keep true to yourself.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the only one that has to live with you is you.
Exactly.
You know,
And whatever makes you happy, just go for it.
That's an excellent message, really. Thank you so much for taking the time to sharing us. And I hope that you can actually call up on the live on the 19th. It's going to be a 3-hour show. And we would love to hear continuing, what Pride means to you on a daily basis. And hopefully Pride means to you yearly, that you live and breathe it.
Right. Yeah, I've been coming since I've known about it, every
Excellent.
year. So,
well, thank you.
No problem. You're welcome.
Listen up, LGBT adults. Listen to April, because April had a strong message that night. And if the adults don't think the kids know, well, April opened my eyes.
Yeah, she hit the nail on the head with the whole DL thing, which we talked about earlier with J. Moses Harper, and how the DL thing, I find it, hot kind of at one time, but now I see that that's actually part of our problem is that
it's not hot when you're hurting somebody else.
Exactly.
It doesn't know your story. And then what happens when you bring something home that other person gets and had no reason getting it only because of your DL.
Yeah. You start involving other people and children because you start having kids and then, you start involving them into your whole madness. Then that's what happens. That's the negative effect and domino effect that it creates.
And DL stands for down low.
For those that don't know.
If you don't know.
Yeah, so that's why it's important to really be truthful to yourself, and in the long run, you won't hurt anyone else. So next, I continued up Christopher Street, and it was really intense, actually, that night. That was the night that I went out by myself, and there was a lot of police activity. And the kids were edgy, but the way I approached them was honest, open, and listening. And PJ was the next person that I happened to approach. And here we have PJ.
Hi, I'm PJ.
Hey, PJ, nice to meet you. I'm out here compiling what Pride means to the youth today at 2001 on Christopher Street in New York City. And I was wondering what Pride means to you in 2011.
What Pride means to me in 2011 is actually for all of us to get together and, acknowledge the fact that each of us has a difference in our own way. We're all aren't born the same. We all have differences, and it's actually about not as much accepting it, but respecting the fact that there's diversity in our community. That's what Pride means.
That's an excellent message. It really, really is. And to your brothers and sisters out here in the streets, in the same situation that you're in, what advice would you give them, you being in the same situation as them, being out here on Christopher Street?
Well, my advice to them is that, there's a lot of stereotyping as far as generalizing the whole wide world. Why should we stereotype ourselves? We should be together. We should be one, and we should be able to just target and make sure that we get to our goals as one. Not diverse, as one.
That's it, because there's no I in team, and you can't do it by yourself. You have to do
it as a team.
group.
At the end of the day, we are a team.
Exactly. Well, thank you for taking the time and really sending the message, and I really hope that you could actually call up live on the 19th, because we'll be out here all week till Sunday compiling all this information. And hopefully you will be part of the next activists and pioneers to give us the rights that we need as a community and also as humanity, because we are all brothers and sisters, regardless of gay, straight, transgender, lesbian, questioning. We're all brothers and sisters.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we're all one. We were all brought down from the same creator, and as dirt we was born, dirt we shall go back, all of us. We are not going to be wearing a crown on our head when we're buried. We're not going to be buried with our millions of dollars. We're going to be buried with our pride, and that's what it's all about, pride. And this year, 2011, is pride about unity.
Well, thank you so much again for taking the time, and I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Well, this is a wrap for QueerPublicRadio.com and BackintheGays.com. Out Gay and Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011. Here with
PJ.
Thank you again, Papi. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Take care.
PJ had a really strong message, and he was actually with a group of other youth, 4 other youth. And usually when you see them, it could be perceived as they're not approachable. But you see, when you approach them at their level, where you're actually open to listening and hearing them, and you're not talking down to them, and you're talking to them equally, that's what you have. That's what this is. This is showing a result of how you approach the youth and listen to them, and you see the message.
Not everybody's going to listen, but not every adult listens either. So, don't be discouraged if you do talk to youth, and some of them aren't going to listen. But if you capture one of them, it makes a difference.
Yeah, definitely. So I continued walking up and down Christopher Street, even with the police activity. And even the police were really looking at me to see what I was doing. But I continued, and I approached Kush. Here we have Kush.
So here we are today, June 7th, on our show for QueerPublicRadio.com and BackintheGays.com, Outgain Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011. And we're here with...
I'm Kush.
Nice to meet you, Kush, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us, really.
No problem.
So we're out here compiling 2 minutes for the youth. What Pride means to the youth today in 2011 in New York City on Christopher Street, and what does Pride mean to you today?
What Pride means to me is basically not being afraid of who you are, doing what you want to do in front of whoever, in front of wherever, and just not being afraid. And my message for the youth is we need a lot more unity. Stop the labels, stop the segregation, and just be together. Because that's a problem with the gay youth, is that everybody has labels and everybody wants to go into categories, and that causes segregation. So we're all the same thing, men and women. What do you need all the breakdown of labels for? What can just be gay and happy?
That's right, right.
What do you need femme and stud and all of this? It's stupid.
Yeah, we're all cut from the same cloth.
Thank you.
We're all cut from the same cloth.
Thing.
Basically.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, China Okasi from CNN and Fox 5 News, she actually said that yesterday on our show. She said that we're cut from the same cloth. And ever since she said that, it stuck.
The labels is what divides us. When you stop the labels and just have humans, we can come together more.
That's right, because it just entertains the rich.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it does.
That's all it does.
It
divide and
separates us.
Conquer. They divide you, and then you can't get along.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time today and giving a message to the youth today, because it's important that we connect with the youth today and stop turning our backs on them. Well, this is a wrap for QueerPublicRadio.com and BackintheGays.com. Outgain Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011 on Christopher Street.
That was Kush. Kush had a serious message. Whereas she was together with Wise One, they were partnered, and I happened to catch them both at the same time. They both wanted to share their message. So here we have Wise One.
So here we are on Christopher Street, day 3, June 7th, for QueerPublicRadio.com and BackintheGays.com special, Outgain Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011. We're out here compiling 2 minutes for the youth of what does Pride mean to them in 2011. And we're here with...
Wise One.
Nice to meet you, Wise One, really, and thank you for stopping and saying hello.
Definitely. Nice to meet you as well.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
What does Pride mean to you 2011?
Basically having love for yourself, unconditional love, and having unconditional love for others. Humanity, just like Kush had said prior to, I think it was yesterday, we separate ourselves between labels, race, gender, and it's crazy because the gay is supposed to be one whole community. Homosexuality, just like my homegirl was saying before, is just it shouldn't have to define you. In 2011, New York City, it's become ridiculous. So just having unconditional love for yourself first, then the others, because that's when it spreads, spread the love, basically.
Yeah, it's like a wildfire. Once you have love for yourself, you actually are able to share that with other people.
Exactly. You need to have it in here first before you could give it out to other people.
And surrounding yourself with good people like your girlfriend right here really makes it all that much easier and that special because you have someone to share it with.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. All right, today for the youth, what message would you send to them, your own brothers and sisters? Thank you. In the LGBT community, what message would you send to them?
Basically, stop hating on each other. Stop hating. We all need to have love. We all need to just spread the word, as, it gets better every day. Some people I've seen are out on the street. Some people, can't get a bite to eat. It's crazy in here. It's New York City. Everybody is just, it's different, Just have love. That's all I can say.
day in and day out, because then we come to the village. Village is definitely not the same as it was back in the early 90s, late 80s.
It's
even
not
from
an escape anymore.
Yeah, it's not. You come here, you feel afraid sometimes. People getting stabbed, killed, murdered. Some people's getting called out in the street. It's not necessary. It's not called for.
Yeah, exactly.
You
We
know,
are a community.
Follow, be a leader, don't follow.
Exactly.
Basically,
That's the
be
best
an individual.
message. Yeah.
Yeah.
And never underestimate the power of you.
Exactly.
Really, really.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for taking the time
Definitely.
to do this, and we are looking forward to hearing you live, just like your girlfriend. We're definitely looking forward to hearing you live, and hopefully we could actually keep a rapport with each other and start a relationship.
Awesome.
Yeah, because it's important
You're on
to know.
Twitter, right?
Yeah, we're also
You
on
should
Twitter.
follow me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Well, this is a wrap for queerpublicradio.com and BackintheGays.com. Out Gay and Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011. Thank you again, both of you.
Thanks a lot.
No problem.
That was wise one. She was definitely, she was talking from experience. You could see that she's always down there. And she's been, coming down to Christopher Street for a minute now.
Back to the 80s.
Yeah, back to the 80s.
So she knows she's seen what's happened, gentrification that's going on throughout the city. I mean, yeah, the city's beautiful. You could go through on your Sex and the City tour and
it's
have a
safe.
fabulous time. But you took you scrubbed the realness from the city. I mean, yeah, I like it clean, but I don't know. I like it a little dirty too.
Well, she definitely had a message, and off the record, the youth all had the same message, though, which was that they felt that they weren't communicating enough between the older generation and the younger generation. So this was important for us to really do this. So I continued up and down Christopher Street, and I ended up talking to Quest, and Quest also had the same message, but here we have Quest.
Nice to meet you, Quest. Thank you for taking the time.
Nice to meet you.
So what does Pride mean to you in 2011?
Well, pride basically means to me that you're comfortable in your own skin. You're not afraid to show who you really are, and that's what I think really matters. You don't care what other people really have to say about you. You're just really proud of who you are and where you stand in life. Don't worry about what other negative things people are saying. As long as you know you're on the right track and you know that you're doing the right thing, even though straight, bi, gay, it doesn't matter. It matters what you're doing with your life. And if it's positive, then that's all that should matter. So that's what pride means to me. Doing something that you love to do and doing it with strength and making something big of yourself.
That's excellent. Thank you for the message. That's a great message. It really is.
No problem.
For your fellow brothers and sisters today in 2001, here in Christopher Street and worldwide, what message would you send to them being in the same situation?
I would send that definitely don't let no one think that it's okay to bash you for who you are. If they think, oh, because you're gay, just pay no mind. Life is too short to get in fights over little petty stuff. Life should go on with integrity and just live life to the fullest. Live life for your full dreams. Don't worry about what no one else has to say. If people don't like you because of your sexuality, let them be. That you need to focus on you and you as a person. You need to fight for what you need. Life is not easy. Life is never easy. Straight, gay, bi, doesn't matter. You just need to fight for what you believe in and make it happen.
That's a great message. Really. Thank you for taking the time and stopping.
No problem.
Well, here's a wrap for Queer Public Radio and BackintheGays.com. Out Gay and Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011. Thank you again, Pa. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
A lot of proud youth out there, out on Christopher Street, and just waiting to be heard.
Yeah, I listened to it. And he had a really good message, too. This is proof that if you just really just stop a youth and actually have something to connect with them, which is just listening and hearing them, they'll stop and actually have a really strong message. So the next was Mimi, which is a transgender that's been out on Christopher Street for 4 or 5 years. And she happened to be 20. And here's Mimi.
So here we are, day 2 for QueerPublicRadio.com and BackintheGays.com. Out gay and loving it with pride in New York City, June 2011. And we're here with
Nini.
Nice to meet you, Nini. Thank you for taking the time to say hello.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to ask the youth today in 2011 what pride means to them. So what does pride mean to you?
Pride means to me, basically, it's a celebration of back in the day things from people that done what they done and people wear what they wear out here now and not getting tossed in the pier.
Yeah.
Right. Because girls used to get tossed in the water, and I'm only 21 years old, but I don't go nowhere and not know the history of it. That's basically walking without a Karens. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Why would you do what you do? Then you got these, well, the girls, what they call themselves, not ladies, out here fucking the boys, and the boys are supposed to be being the provider. How you being the provider and the healer? Makes no sense.
So that's what pride means.
It's a male trait. They think that going to a girl is basically looking pretty to prits and selling your body. No.
So that's what pride means to you.
Women's basically pride means to me it's a celebration of a conglomerate of people that did the smart thing, not the stupid.
Okay.
Takes two dumb people to tango.
That's it. So to the youth today, to your fellow brothers and sisters, what would you say to them? And in the same situation, what advice would you give to them since you are in the same situation on Christopher Street, 2011?
I used to be in the same situation, and gladly I was thinking outside the box. Well, I made this saying: never doubt the impossible, and you don't like the show, and you can't lie to me because you won't. Think outside the box. While you walking down here and your body is here, think outside. Your body is here, but your brain is on 250th Street for the people that's smart.
All right, and on that note, for QueerPublicRadio.com and BackintheGays.com, Out Gay and Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011.
All right, you can't mess with Mimi. All right, Mimi's got something to say.
Okay.
She'll just keep going and going, but we love her.
Yeah, Mimi had it. Definitely, she has something to say. So this is day 3, June 7th, with Bone and Tell and Sunny, both out rappers that came out with us. And we're talking to the youth and seeing what pride meant to the youth in 2011. And we started talking to Nicole. And here we have Nicole.
So here we are, day 3, June 7th, 2011, Christopher Street, New York City. And we're seeing what pride means to the youth today. And we're here with
Nicole.
Hey, Nicole. Thank you for stopping and talking to us. We're here today at Christopher Street seeing what pride means to the youth so that we can see and set them up on being the next activists and pioneers. And what would you say today to the youth, what pride means to you?
What pride means to me, unity, and that we all stick together and that we all fight for some equality around here. Back in the days, a lot of the gay, lesbian, transgenders were not accepted. And they had to run a whole lot. They had to run from the police, and they couldn't come down here peacefully. They couldn't walk New York without being harassed. Here it is 2011, and it has gotten a lot better, and I would like it to get better.
Mm-hmm. That's a good message. So what would you tell the youth today, being in the same situation, being lesbian, gay, transgender, what message would you send to them?
Well, I would tell them that they're lucky. They have a whole world out there that that can make a difference, and it doesn't have to be the same routine. It could be different. Things could change.
Mm-hmm.
They step up, stop doing the same old stuff.
Good message, good message. Well, thank you for stopping by and talking to us. I appreciate it. And we hope to hear you on the live show on the 19th and after, because we're looking to build a rapport with everyone out there.
Okay.
All right?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
It's a wrap. Out Gay and Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011, Queer Public Radio and BackintheGays.com.
Nicole was actually the mother of a house. Some of her children were there listening while we were doing this interview. It was amazing. The negative aspect that people give transgender, drag queen, there's no reason for it. They're like everybody else. They have a voice too, and you could hear it through Nicole's voice and what she had to say. Unity, equality. Let's listen.
And it's also saying that it's a team effort. The youth say that the older generation keep turning their back on them, but also the youth keep living behind negativity. And when you live behind negativity, you're only going to breed more negativity. And if you actually connect to the part that you play on all the negative that's happening down on Christopher Street, then that's when we could work towards moving forward. So we continued up Christopher Street after speaking to Mother Nicole,
which was actually on the pier, the former pier, famous pier that everybody talked about. But yes, we're back going up Christopher Street where we met a few more youth.
Yeah, RJ was one of them. And here we have RJ.
What pride means to the youth today in New York City on Christopher Street. And we're here with
RJ.
RJ, nice to meet you. Thank you for taking the time and talking to us. We're out here seeing what pride means to the youth, and we wanted to see what pride means to you as an individual.
Pride to me as an individual, especially in 2011, it just is about being unique and being proud to be a gay male, you know. And I do fall under the umbrella Black gay male, but also I feel like it's a community. Sometimes we kind of separate the transgender from it, but all of us, I think, being a part of the community, being proud to say the one day, because, you know, we only have that one day for us to celebrate, that one day that we all come together and just say, hey, we're gay, we're here to stay, we're proud. So that's how I feel.
Excellent, excellent. And what message would you send to your fellow brothers and sisters out here in New York City, Christopher Street, and also worldwide? What message would you send to them?
Well, especially in New York City, I'm a part of a fraternity, OBB, and we try to promote just bringing our Black community together and promoting positive, just all positive for Black gay men, because in our community we seem to kind of get caught up with sneakers you're wearing or what house you're in and all that fictitious stuff. But OBB, we try to just like do fundraisers. We're part of GMAC, so we definitely part of the AIDS Walk. Like, you know, we just try to be a part of the community and be the leaders in our community. Where sometimes I found when I was following the wrong crowd, I got into certain things. But when I took my leadership qualities seriously, I started to notice that my generation do use my face and they look up to. If you have something positive to say and they can identify, they're going to listen. So I felt like I had a duty to join something that was positive, that was uplifting, that was definitely a part of something that I really believed in. So, yeah, I'm promoting OBB, Outstanding Beautiful
What's
Brothers.
the website?
Like, again, there you can go on GMAC, and under that, you have Brothers, Protecting Other Brothers, and then under that is OBB, Outstanding Beautiful Brothers. So all the information is definitely on the GMAC website.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for taking the time and sharing your message. And we'll see you out here all week, and we're looking to be out here actually after this. This is just more seeing what the youth need, and are they going to be receptive to us? Because if the youth don't want it themselves, of course, we can't come out here and be as successful as we are. Today's day 3, and we're actually very successful with it, and we're so happy. And thank you again for taking the time and saying hello.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
That was RJ from OBB,
Outstanding Beautiful Brothers organization. Yeah. It's a fraternal organization, and they are down with GMHC, Gay Men's Health Crisis.
GMHC.org/OBB. And it was really uplifting to stop and hear him with his message. And afterwards, it was actually a treat because he actually sang live afterwards and just blew us away with his gift. So it was all around a gift to meet RJ, and we definitely look forward to
hearing more of his beautiful voice and hearing more of his activist side.
Yeah. Well, we continued walking up, and we happened to stop and listen to Free, which grew up with a lesbian mother and had a strong message off recording, and on was also strong.
He was very strong, and I just think we should listen.
Yeah, it is free.
So here we are, back Queer Public Radio and BackintheGays.com. Out Gay and Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011, on Christopher Street, West Side Highway with
Free.
Nice to meet you, Free. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
Not a problem.
We're out here seeing what pride means to the youth in 2011 so that we could see what we can do to set you guys up to be the next pioneers, the next activists, because there's still rights to be had, you know? And I want to see what pride means to you.
Pride to me is just, it's not what my sexuality is, it's what I am as a person, you know? Although I am a man who sleeps with men. I identify as gay. I don't let that consume my being, you know, although it plays a huge factor in my life and what I represent and the community that I represent. It doesn't overwhelm me. It doesn't make me change who I am as a person. Being raised in, you know, an atmosphere of, you know, accepting everybody, I've learned, you know, if you want to be accepted in certain parts of the world, you got to be yourself. You know what I mean? You can't change for what your atmosphere is. And that's what it really means to me. It means to be able to be myself and respect myself and carry myself for me and not for others.
That's such a nice message. Why don't you give a little lowdown of your upbringing?
Yeah, I was raised by 2 lesbian parents. My mom was very old-fashioned. She taught me a lot about the community. You know, even before I came out to my mother, she always taught me, you know, the basics, you know, do unto those of what you want done to you, what you give into the world is what you get. Just basic, simple things, you know. If you look at somebody that look, you know, to you may look ugly, and you sit there and act like everybody else and laugh at them, you know, you ain't built enough. If you take 2 seconds out your day to laugh at somebody, you should take 2 minutes out of your day to sit there and have a legitimate conversation.
There you go. There you go. You hit the nail on the head. Well, we also want to ask you, what message would you give your brothers and sisters out here on Christopher Street and worldwide for that matter? What advice would you give them?
I'd say live. If you continue to hide or to seek things in other parts of the world that's not positive, you're not living for you. When you're comfortable in you, no matter what obstacles that you're going to face at the moment, that's going to be, you know, very heavy and hurtful, such as either if you become homeless or if your parents reject you or if you're out on the streets or whatever trials and tribulations you go through, just know that it's only momentarily, like, especially if you're young like me, I'm only 20, you know, if you let things consume you so young, you're not going to grow nowhere. But if you begin to think outside the box and step outside the box and be you, you'll realize what people really was in it for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, definitely always realize who's in your social network. And, you know, when you categorize them for what they are, then that's how you grow. But if you think everybody's your friend and everybody's out here for you and that you're the life of the party and everybody has their best interest for you, that's when you set yourself up to get hurt or manipulated, you know, or for failure, basically. But when you start to be like, okay, this is who I am, I have my set boundaries, I know what my boundaries are, and if you can't respect them, then you need to step back, and I can't surround myself around you. When you have a concrete foundation within yourself, and you know that can't nobody break it but you, that's all you need in life. It's like walking on a platform. You know, if you walk on this platform, it's not going to fall unless something very, 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 very strong and heavy breaks through it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you continue to move like that in your life and keep your foundation strong, you shouldn't let nobody break it.
Wow, that's deep. Here on Christopher Street with Bone and Tell. And we just can't believe that this is going on, you know? I mean, really, Bone and Tell, Sonny, Rob in the background, Cisco, and we're here with, once again,
Free.
And we're banging it out here, out gay and loving it with pride, showing what it means to be proud. June 7th, 2011, Christopher Street, West Side Highway. Thank you again, Free, for stopping and talking to us and dropping the knowledge. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The word.
Free was powerful, had such a message. And we continue to talk to Free when we see him down on Christopher Street. We've given numerous youth our number so we can help connect them with different resources. We may not be able to connect you with money because we're not balling like that, but we'll definitely have resources and things that we could share with you that can steer you in the right direction to help you get to that next level of you being yourself and also you living the life that you should be living. So I definitely thank everyone as far as Free and RJ. But we continue up and down Christopher Street and with Bone and Tell and Sonny and Rob, and we hit Willie Harris. And
Willie actually originated from Texas, coming here to live his dream. Fashion business, modeling. We're working with models. So Willie's got a lot of aspirations, and he's got a lot of plans, and
he's got a lot of heart. So he's got a lot of heart, and he's another youth that we've been keeping contact with on Facebook and different places. And here we have Willie Harris.
What does Pride mean to the youth today in New York City on Christopher Street in 2011? And we're here with
Willie Harris.
Nice to meet you, Willie.
How you doing?
Good. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We want to know what Pride means to you.
Pride is to me is able to express ourselves as brothers and sisters. You know, us being able to come together and show the world who we are. We're not just sex. We're not an abomination. We're people who love, and we love each other. We just love. That's who we are. I mean, when I first turned 18 and I went to the first Pride Festival ever, it was a GLBT event. Of
Where
course.
was this?
It was in Port Lavaca, Bachelor Beach.
Oh,
For
okay.
the Victoria GLBT, matter of fact. And I went and I had just turned 18. It was my birthday weekend, and I was like, wow. I came with my lesbian friend and we had a great time. And so it was just awesome just to come and dance and be free and be able to see everyone, you know, guys holding hands, and then, you know, the women kissing, everyone being able to show their affection with no friction. So it was uplifting.
Oh, that's great. That's such a message. I love it. Really.
So that's what Pride means to me, just being able to be proud of who you are and to show it without any friction stress.
Like you're doing right here.
Yeah.
With us, really, just be yourself. That's great. And what would you tell your brothers and sisters out here on Christopher Street and the West Side Highway? What message would you send to them? Advice, or what would you send to them? What would you say to them?
To move forward. Not to just settle, just to be open and be out, to make something of ourselves, and to bring more, to add something to the world, to show them that we're just not boys loving boys, we're not just women loving women, we can do something in this world, which we have, but we should do more than that. Not just to be freedom to get loose and act wilder. It's time to come together and make things happen, make changes official, and just show the world who we are. And we can do it.
Excellent message. Thank you. You are so right. Really, community. Bring it back to the grassroots, where we're a community.
So we are. We're supposed to be here to uplift each other, not to be against one another. That's one thing I don't like. When I first moved here in New York, and I see sometimes our own brothers fighting our own brothers. It's like, it's ridiculous. What are you doing? We should be holding each other's hands, and we should be helping each other.
Uplifting.
You know, people who fought for our rights. You know, like Harvey Milk. They went through a lot for that time, just for us not to be out here acting foolish. We should be doing something with ourselves, with our time. And then we have fun later.
That's it. Once we have all our rights, we'll be able to have all the fun in the world, because we'll be doing that with familia, sharing it with good people,
and have freedom. So it's about moving together. It's about the movement. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. Now we've gotten to a place that's that comfortable thing that I don't know. You never get comfortable where you're at, because this is all we're gonna end up. It's time to move forward.
So that's what
thank you so much.
And the message to the youth, because I mean, the youth need it. We all need to be reminded sometimes. And that's what we're doing.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. This is a wrap for QueerPublicRadio.com and BackintheGays.com. Out Gay and Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011. Baby.
That was not me blowing kisses into Cisco's ear. That was the wind of the Hudson River blowing that evening right down by the Peters while we talked to Willie Harris.
Yeah, Willie Harris is a great soul, very loving, as you can hear. And it was a great way to end June 7th with Bone and Tail and Sunny and Rob. So we're going to jump into Wednesday, June 8th with Tyron Gem, Out Music Award nominated for R&B Soul, which was our interview also with Tyron Gem earlier in the hour. So we walked up with Tyron. Actually, I walked up with Tyron Gem in the afternoon at Christopher Street, and we end up walking down Christopher and talking to Brown. So here we have Brown.
Here we are, day 4, June 8th, Queer Public Radio and BackintheGays.com, Out Gay and Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011, on Christopher Street with...
Brown.
Say again?
Brown.
Nice to meet you, Brown. So we're out here compiling what pride means to the youth today. What pride means to you today in 2011?
Pride means to me that anybody can be, feel, or how any way that they really want to be.
Be yourself.
Yeah, all you gotta do is just be yourself, and pretty much, that's about it.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Straight to the point. So what would you say to your brothers and sisters out here that are in the same struggle, in the same situation, out here being LGBT in 2000? What advice would you give them?
My advice is just always know what you want to be. I know what I am. And everybody knows that. So pretty much, if you want to be what you really want to be, all you gotta do is just go for it.
Yeah. On top of being yourself, it's just a beautiful combination, and you'll get there definitely. You know, so we're doing a live show on the 19th, and we look forward to you calling up and interjecting what pride means to you and what your aspirations are for us as a community, so that we could connect together and do this together. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. So this is a wrap. Out Gay and Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011. Thank you again.
Well, that was Brown. You could tell it was a thug brother, but he still had a message, and he took the time and courage to actually stop and say hello to Tyra, Jim, and myself. And it's just, it was great to connect and listen and hear to what he had to say. And we look forward to even doing this in August, but we'll definitely keep you posted. We continued our way up and down Christopher with Tyra and Jim, and we connected with Kite, Kyte. Spell it wrong. Don't spell it wrong, honey. Oh, here's Kite.
So here we are, day 4, June 8th, 2011, on Christopher Street in the West Side Highway, and we're seeing what pride means to the youth in New York City, and we're here with...
My name is Kite. What up? With a Y, not an I.
Hi, nice to meet you, man. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. All right, we're out here compiling 2 minutes of what pride means to the youth. What does pride mean to you today in June 2011?
Pride to me is being able to keep your self-image and your self-worth and what you like and what you want to do, and not conforming, even though it's easy to conform with a lot of other influences. And when you're a minority in any situation, or when you're, the lonely stoner all alone, it's easy to conform because it's easier and you feel more comfortable. But pride is being able to rebel against that and knowing yourself enough to not have your self-image change just because someone else criticizes the way you are or the way you do things. And you know for yourself what you like, what that means to you inside, and you know how to do that and be that all the way through, inside and out. So nobody can affect your dignity. That's pride.
That's pride. That's exactly pride. Well, this is a wrap. QueerPublicRadio.com and BackintheGays.com. We're here with Tyra and Jem, wrapping it up. Out Gay and Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011. Thank you again.
Sorry for the bad quality, but when you're out in the street, you never know what you're going to hear, wind-wise, car-wise. But we didn't want to cut out that voice of Kite because it still is important, and hopefully you were able to get something out of it.
Yeah, it was definitely great to talk to Kite, and once again, sorry for the quality of it. But we're gonna go to we continue walking up and down the street with Tyra and Jim, and we connected with Lorenzo, and here we have Lorenzo.
Here we are, day 4, June 8th, New York City, Christopher Street, West Side Highway, Queer Public Radio and BackintheGays.com. Out Gay and Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011. We're seeing what pride means to the youth today, so we can connect with them and work together as a community to get there. And we're here today with Lorenzo. Lorenzo, nice to meet you, Lorenzo. It's a pleasure. Thank you. What does pride mean to you in 2011?
What pride means to me is when everybody gets together it's like one big happy family. It's like, yeah, you don't know that person, but then again, sit down and take time to know them, see what they're actually going through, see what happened in their past. Open them up more, make them feel who they are. Just let them stop hiding who actually, don't hide no more. Just come out.
That's deep. Get deeper, because I know it's gonna get deeper.
It is gonna get deeper. Like, I have a couple of friends that's scared to come out because of their family members. Okay, that's family. You shouldn't hide what you're doing because your family don't know. Be who you are. Be who you actually are. Stop hiding. Okay, okay, yeah, you say you're straight, but then again, you come out with your friends. Oh no, I'm gay. I like this. I like that. Okay, you say that, but when you get around your family, it's like nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
But like Homeboy said, it's like when you take off the costume, it's just the regular you. You're not being yourself anymore because you're being two people who's trying to live two lives that actually can't live two lives.
Mm-hmm. You're trying to conform.
Exactly, because once you conform, you're gonna be confused, and then you don't know what path to go down. You're gonna want to go this way, but you don't. You want to go that way, but you're stuck.
That's important what you just said, because that could actually lead to depression, which leads to suicide.
Exactly.
So you actually see the connection with everything that's going on around.
Because I experienced it, because my boyfriend, he cuts himself a lot because he's going through a lot, and I mean a lot. He's, yeah. I see it for myself. Talk to your lover, talk to your partner. Just be strong about it. Don't hide nothing from them. If they have a problem, sit down and talk to them. Don't let them go nowhere. So, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. No, because as soon as they walk out the door, they're gonna be thinking. What should I do? I need to do this. I want to do that, but I don't want to. I don't want to hurt his feelings. Stop. Sit down. Have a seat. Talk.
And listen and hear.
And listen. Because once they listen, they're going to feel very open up more. That's when the trust is to start on building up.
That's a beautiful message. And what advice would you give your fellow brothers and sisters out here on Christopher Street and worldwide in the LGBT community?
The message I would give to the young ones: stop thinking it's all about sex. It's not. Because that's how HIV/AIDS get out there fast, and that's why people are looking at the gays. So, oh no, they have disease. Don't mess with them. Don't talk to them. Just be about your business. No, it's not like that. People, the young ones, it's like when they have a problem, they want to take it out on good feelings. Okay, yeah, I met this dude. Okay, we're gonna have sex. Now I don't have to worry about the problem. Stop doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all about sex. I mean, yes, sex is good, but then again, it's also bad because what are you doing to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Like they said, oh yeah, I'm gonna use protection. Okay, protection. It's not gonna do nothing. Just focus on you. Focus on what you have to do. Graduate. Don't drop out of school. Education is important. Focus on you. Focus what you have to do in life. That's it. Yeah, they're not gonna go down. Yeah, they're gonna need somebody to show them the guidance, who they need to love somebody. Okay, find a friend that you can actually get close to, talk to, feel comfortable. And once you let your feelings out, they're gonna see how you actually feel. They're gonna come and comfort you. Sit down and cry together. Talk about it.
It's a great message. Thank you for taking the time and sharing your message. I hope it really connects with someone that really needs some direction. Well, this is a wrap. Queer Public Radio, BackintheGays.com, out gaying, loving it with pride in New York City. What does pride mean to the youth? Thank you again.
Well, that was Lorenzo. Sorry about the quality again and the wind and everything. And
it's actually the day before big storms hit the city. That's why we were only able to do it on the next day on Friday. But we do have one more person.
Yeah, we have Paul, also from OBP, Outstanding Beautiful Brothers from GMHC. And here's Paul.
Here we are, day 4, June 8th. RepublicRadio.com and BackintheGays.com. Out here and loving it with pride in New York City, June 2011. We're out here compiling 2 minutes of what pride means to the youth, and we're here with
Paul.
Nice to meet you, Paul. Thank you for taking the time.
They call me the Godfather, though.
The Godfather?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time and saying hello, seriously.
Definitely, no problem.
In 2011, what does pride mean to you?
2011, what pride means to me? Pride means to me that collectively, all together, it's not as it was before, as so much that not everybody was comfortable with themselves, but now you see everybody is becoming comfortable with themselves. So it's also made the community more bigger. As you see, every year, pride gets bigger. It gets bigger every year. And to me, it's a celebration of who we are as human beings, that we do have the right to be here. We do have the right to sit amongst anybody.
That's right.
At the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And that right there means so much more than any pile of money, anything you could try to throw.
Yeah. And especially when you can share with other people.
And definitely, when you can share with other people, friends, people that you've seen in a long time, that you kind of had something, and then, you meet up at this one spot because you don't get a chance to see each other, but you know that you're going to meet up at one spot together, and you'll see each other and be able to talk about what has going on and how you live, you know what I'm saying?
That's a beautiful thing. Soon we're not going to have this, so that's why we're doing this, to catch it before we lose Christopher Street, because we see the gentrification of Christopher Street.
Definitely. The cops, it seems like they're taking over. Now, I can understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, I look at it like this is all they have. This is all the youth have. You take this away from them, what they got? Going back to groups, just going back to groups, and from the group going home, not being able to express who they are to anybody else. That kind of suppresses and emotionally can destroy a kid, a child, somebody, that really wants to be themselves and doesn't know how to be themselves in front of their own family members or in front of their friends.
That's what these suicide acts.
Yeah, exactly. Suicide, things like that.
And that's why we're out here seeing what pride means to the youth, so that we could actually start calling out to the youth and connecting people like myself. I'm 39 years old, and my generation, I'm not trying to turn my back to the youth, and I'm actually trying to get all the older ones on board with the same thing and stop turning their backs on the LGBT youth.
Exactly. And just as I do the same, I do work for an organization called GMHC. I have a group called OBB, Outstanding Beautiful Brothers.
Oh, I met one of your brothers last night. Yes, I did, and I spoke to him, and he actually gave a message. Yes, I did. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're geared to the Latin and Black community, but I try to justify for everybody.
Excellent.
I say at the end of the day, nobody's not going to do for us. We have to do for self. And yes, it's probably going to take a big group of us together, but as long as we're together, they can't stop us.
Our numbers.
We're going to crush those walls. At the end of the day, what are they going to do? Pull out the guns and shoot on us? That's what's going to come to.
Yeah. It shouldn't come to that.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see no blood drawn from none of my people, but definitely for my community. I don't want to see none of that. And that's what it looks like it's going to end up coming to. I understand the youth, some of the youth might be misguided, led the wrong way. That's understandable. They also have to understand that they might not have something back at home.
That's what brings them out here, to connect with people in similar situations.
You know what I'm saying? And some of them, they bring that anger out here, and because they can't release it where they're at, so they'll come out here, and sometimes some of them, they just release it out here. And I understand that, I'm not going to blame them for it. They just don't have the understanding what people have fought before them, so they can be able to stand out here.
That's deep, man. Word, that's deep, man.
So, in other words,
Just Tyron Jim.
Tyron Jim here. In other words, it's up to our generation to the people who came before the generation of now to explain to them where they came from and that they're
what the struggle has been, so they can appreciate that they're a part of us moving forward in the community.
Definitely. It takes a lot for us to really make sure that we let them know and we talk to them, and we give them a chance. Don't let the one kid that you see has a problem sit there. Take your time. Are you okay? When you do these things, you can find out, and you maybe possibly can help. Not everybody can help somebody, but you can give something or lead them somewhere where they can get that help.
Yeah, listening to them and hearing them, because listening and hearing is two different things.
Yes, you know what I mean?
You have to do both.
Exactly. It can solve a lot and could keep somebody from committing suicide.
That's what we're doing here.
And it's not just the old generation, but it's also the medium generation and myself that has to do this and talk to the young generation too, because they see me, and I do be out here, and I come out here, and I stayed out here at 4 o'clock in the morning. The reason I stay out here at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, not for my reasons, because I do care about the 16-year-old kids walking around here on the back street selling their bodies. I do my best to try to talk to them every time I see them.
You're a messenger, man.
I do my best. I really do. Because nobody, like I said, nobody else is not going to do for them. It's easy, and I don't take nothing away from another race or generation. It's easy for somebody to jump out of a van with a suit and tie and some hair, his condoms, HIV when his hair from getting tested, and send you on the way to the Metro card or a movie ticket.
Yeah, or something.
What are you really telling them?
Yeah.
I want you to get tested, and I'll get the fuck out of here. Yeah. So I can know my number count if you're HIV positive or not. Instead of taking the time to say, look, let me talk to you and see what's going on. Maybe we can help you further this. I have an organization. Come to my building. Or you can reach me at my phone whenever you need to talk.
Wow. Well, we got to exchange numbers after this, seriously. I want to do more. Yeah. Well, what message would you give to the youth today in 2011 here on Christopher Street and worldwide to your fellow brothers and sisters? What message would you send?
I would definitely say there is somebody out there. Always there's somebody out there that you can talk to. Sometimes it's going to be hard to find them, but there is somebody out there. And please, please just understand that, being in the gay life is going to be hard, regardless of what background you come from. But long as you know that in yourself that I'm going to have to fight through this and get through this so I can make it to the next day, and nobody's not going to stop me because I am who I am.
That's hitting the nail on the head on so many different levels, B.
I told you, somebody can cut you and you can bleed, but as long as you get up from that cut, as long as you get up, you get up from that little scratch, and you wash it off, you put the medicine on it, and you put the Band-Aid on it, you'll be good as new, because it's gonna go back. That's it. It's gonna go back.
Well, this is a wrap. Christopher Street, Westside Highway. What does pride mean to the youth? Out Gay and Loving It, Queer Public Radio, and BackintheGays.com. Thank you for taking the time and sending such a positive message on so many different levels. Thank you.
Definitely. You're welcome.
That was some strong words from Paul out there from OBB. Outstanding Beautiful Brothers, works with the GMHC, Gay Men's Health Crisis here in New York City. We want to thank Tyran Gem and our host out there on Christopher Street that day, Cisco. Now we're going into Friday, June 10th. We skipped a few days because of the weather and came back on Friday. And we talked to Dream the Dream.
Dream the Dream and her lover, her partner of 6 months. So here's Dream the Dream.
QueerPublicRadio.com and BackintheGays.com, June 10th on Christopher Street. And we're here on our show, Out Gay and Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011. And we're here with
Dream the Dream.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for taking the time to say hello. We're out here compiling 2 minutes or whatever feels comfortable for you. What pride means to you, and we're going to air it on the 19th on our live show. And what does pride mean to you?
Pride means to me to be able to love freely
and to have the ability to be happy in a relationship that I'm in and not have to succumb to what society wants me to be.
That's excellent. And she has her partner here. Yeah, supporting her. So this is stuff that you don't see, but her partner's here with her, supporting her. And what message would you have for your fellow brothers and sisters in the LGBT community out on Christopher Street and worldwide? What message would you have for them?
The message I would have for them is that you don't have to be afraid to be who you are, and there's help all over. You just have to find it. You know what I mean? There's people who will support you. They have community centers and things like that you can go to. Even when you're younger, like I remember, because I'm from upstate, from Buffalo, we had a center where when you're in high school, you find yourself and you're gay, or even if you don't know, or if you just have gay friends, you know what I mean? They have a center where you can go and fellowship and talk to other people that are like you or different from you, but it's just all friendly. They have a place where you can eat, watch TV, things like that. They have it all over the place.
And this is in Buffalo. Where in Buffalo?
Buffalo, the city of Buffalo.
City of Buffalo. Okay,
but
cool.
They have one here too in New York City, the center.
13th Street. Yeah.
And I've been there. They have job postings, like gay job, where they don't discriminate. They have, gay places where you can rent rooms or apartments, things like that. They have posters for that there, so you can go there and probably find someone that you would feel comfortable staying with, or a job you would feel comfortable with. They just have a lot of things open to people.
Excellent. Yeah, classes. I mean, they just have different community events.
Volunteering there too.
Yeah.
We have like counseling. We were gonna go counseling.
Couples counseling.
Really?
Things like that.
Oh, that's excellent.
They have referrals. They'll refer you to a place where you can go. Gay couples counseling. Go. If you and your girlfriend or boyfriend are fighting all the time, like me and my girlfriend do, go get help. And help keep your relationship together.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, at least you're asked. You're trying to work it out. It's definitely worth it because you guys are great looking couples. Seriously, you guys complement each other. Yeah, it's really nice. Seriously. Yeah. Well, this is a wrap for Queer Public Radio and BackintheGays.com. Out Gay and Loving It with Pride in New York City, June 2011. And
dream the dream.
Thank you for taking the time to say hello and then saying what pride means to you and your message to your brothers and sisters. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you or hearing you on the 19th. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Love is.
That was powerful.
Yeah, Dream to Dream had a message. Dream to Dream had a message. And it was great that she mentioned the LGBT center here in New York and the center everywhere. There's one in Buffalo. There's one out there wherever you are. Hopefully it is out there, and hopefully you can use it. I want to thank you for coming and listening to our Out Gay and Loving It with Pride special, Youth Week special.
And we want to thank also AndreJWorldwide.com, Andre J. And we also want to thank J. Moses Harper from MosesHarper.com. And also Tyrant Jim, definitely ReverbNation.com/Tyrant Jim. In Bone and Tell, Out Rapper, and also Sunny. And also Rob, thank you for,
and Cisco, thank you.
For being out there.
And for always, thank you, Tom, for your giving us this chance. And on next week's show.
Yeah, thank you for sharing this with us, Tom. And
yes.
Thank you for giving us this platform to do this.
And on next week's show, I want to also let you know that we're going to have special guest Mark Cicero, DJ of the original Eagles Nest Bar.
From 1985 to current. He's currently still spinning at the New Eagle on 28th Street and 11th Avenue, New York City.
And also, we're going to have Ernie Glam, former Club Kid, journalist now. He was Clara the Carefree Chicken. We'll have him here with us, and we'll have lots of other information. It will be Gay Pride Day here in New York. So you're going to have to tune in to hear more about Gay Pride Day.
Which will be a pre-recorded show. And then we have the wrap-up show that Monday from 5 to 7:30, which will be live. And we will share all the goodies and the secrets and stuff that we've been working on
out there during the Pride Parade and all the other events that are making it up. So thank you once again for joining us. And thank you again, Tom, at queerpublicradio.com.
Out Gay and Loving It with Pride in New York City, New York City style.
And I'm Rob.
And I'm Cisco. We're from BackintheGays.com. Blog committed to stories and events that happened back in the days in the LGBT community. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. we are.
Hey.
New York City after the show. Sitting around here. It's been a busy day here in the city. But we've been home getting ready for our show and presenting the youth of New York. What are you talking about? Are we continuing this? Sure you can. Can't speak English, but sure. Come on in, Tom.
Hey, guys. Wow. Wow.
Hey, Tom.
It was a powerful show.
Hey, don't make fun of my typos in the chat room. All seriousness here for a moment. I got to tell you guys, when Robin Cisco went out and they went into the street here talking to all these youngsters, and I got a sound file here, 3 or 4 sound files one day, 4 or 5 sound files another day, 6, 7, bits and pieces. But hearing all of these all back to back like that, hearing those 19 youngsters, what keeps going through my mind here is, and what everyone needs to remember, I think is so important, is that 40% of homeless youth are LGBTQI community members. 40%, that's 40% of all the homeless people 25 years of age or younger are LGBTQI. And we just heard from 19 of them.
Such a small amount, but it's much bigger. We've got more cities out there.
Yeah.
That was just 19 that we happened to get on recording. That's not including the 25 that didn't just bypass us. They actually stopped and talked to us, and they just felt more comfortable without the recorder, which is fine, because, they left with the flyer, but they also left with the message, which was out there being, listening to them and hearing them and what they had to say. It was important. And it was important for us to do that so that we can go on to that next level of connecting with the youth.
It was awesome. I cannot, I've been sitting here the whole show, in case anyone out there doesn't know. I've been in the background pushing buttons and making this all happen. But that was so powerful, hearing all this together in one lump sum. Because like I said, I heard a little over each day, over a period of time, and it really didn't hit me the way it did today, hearing all of them back to back like that. It was like, wow, that was kind of, I got emotional a little bit there a couple times, because it's so very powerful, and to realize these are homeless youth and members of our LGBT community. I tell you, anyone that can't have their eyes well up or feel emotional over that doesn't have a heart.
Exactly. I mean, I broke down 3 times during that, because listening to it and seeing it was just like, wow. I mean, of course we know this already, but being reminded and actually going out there and listening and hearing the stories on top of seeing the negative effect it has at a street level was just so amazing to us. We're just doing this for June, of course, for Pride, to spotlight and show things like this.
What the youth need, and what's going on out there, and it's nothing new. I mean, we can go back into the 60s with Marsha P. Johnson, Stonewall veteran, and Sylvia Rivera, one of the children of her house. They started STAR, which stood for the Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries. And that's what we have to be. We have to kind of be revolutionaries out there. That house is still around to this day. I mean, it's still helping kids out there. They just have to seek it out. And that's the important thing. The kids that, if they are listening right now, that they're seeking out the help through the center. I mean, the center's door is open every day. There's somebody there to talk to. There's somebody there or in the garden that you can talk to. There's always a friendly face in the center.
13th Street between 7th and Greenwich.
There's also, people out there that will listen to you at down at the piers, but it's just it's a matter of seeking the help and using the resources that are out there and finding those resources and asking questions. That's what it's about.
It's amazing to me that there's that. I mean, goodness, it's how many just off. I mean, y'all were out there on several nights. Would you say? I mean, give me a number. I mean, on the most crowded night out there that you saw, how many do you think were out there on the street?
I would have to say hundreds.
I would say at least easy 300 to 500 different times.
Different nights bring out different groups of kids. Some kids come over from Jersey. The PATH train is right on Christopher Street. There's a major station right there, so a lot of them come up. A lot of the lesbians from the Jersey, Hoboken, Newark area, they come over along with the gays. Come over and hang out here because it's still a spot where they can feel comfortable.
Then you have the Bronx, Brooklyn, Staten Island, Queens. So it was easy between 300 to 500 just going back and forth from 7th Avenue to the Christopher Street piers.
Wow.
On a weekend day, they could maybe triple that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even. I can imagine, but I know this Sunday is going to be a lot of people in town for the Pride. So, it's going to be even harder for them that day because they'll be out celebrating, but the ones who can't be celebrating out there that are using that as their place to live, they're going to get kind of pushed out of that area because of people coming down as tourists and or other LGBT community people that just coming out to celebrate.
Yeah, I mean, but the path for the march, the Gay Pride March, is that anywhere near there?
Well, it starts on 5th Avenue in the 30s and works its way down 5th Avenue over to 6th Avenue, then down Christopher Street. So it goes right down there. I think it turns at Greenwich, but it's almost to the end. So a lot of people just float in and about that area. So yeah, we'll go into that area and the police will probably make a big presence down there that day.
Yeah, because that kind of reminds me when you mentioned that, when they had the inauguration for Obama, that was one of the big stories and all that is they ran, because they closed down Washington, D.C. the first time ever when Obama's inauguration happened. They closed down all the bridges going into D.C. and they ran all the homeless people out.
That's what they're going to do with the parade.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. And, some can celebrate because, some make the best of it, but some have no choice but to use what they have, which is living out on the street, on Christopher Street, and have no choice but to...
The ones that aren't lucky enough to have a place to go. I mean, Willie Harris, he's got friends, whether they're good or bad, it remains to be seen, but as long as they do have a roof over their head, they'll be able to go out and celebrate Pride. But the ones that are living down there and they're making the piers their home,
like Free was one of those people that were,
and Nicole who was the mother of her own house, young mother with 2 LGBT youth that she brought in. So where are they going to go that day? I'm sure they'll be celebrating them. So.
Yeah, we've seen them numerous times already, just from the past couple of weeks that we've been out there more, visible and talking to the youth. And yeah, it's been really, really open arms.
Wow, that's awesome. I tell you though, it's. I'm glad you're shining a bright light on it because it needs to be. I just think this is something that. When we live in one of the richest countries in the world and we send a heck of a lot of money outside of our borders, we should not have this happening within our borders.
Not at all.
No, if this is America where they say nobody should go hungry, nobody should go thirsty, well, these kids are down there hungry, worrying where the next meal's coming from because they're not aware of the resources that they have.
Yeah, because we saw Free after with Bone and Tell and Sonny a few days after. I mean, excuse me, no, we were down there on Friday, that Friday.
That's when we saw.
That's when we saw Free, because we originally saw some with Bone and Tell. And he ended up having an episode on the piers. And it was because he didn't have anything to eat and he didn't have any water. And that was when we were having those 90 days, 90-degree days.
Mm-hmm.
And, he should not go through that. He shouldn't have to go through that.
Yeah, really.
At all. Not in one of the richest or the richest, one of the richest countries on the earth.
One of the richest cities.
Yeah, one of the richest cities too, where there's so many resources and different things that we can use. So it was heartbreaking. It really was, Tom.
Yeah, I tell you, I can feel it. It really pisses me off that this even happens. I can't help but feel for these kids, man. Something needs to be done to this is an injustice that's ongoing, and it, quite frankly, I have to be with the kids. Does anyone care?
Yeah. Well, that's why we went out there in June, to see if they were receptive to it, because if they were, we were looking to continue it. And August on, we're definitely going to hit the streets again and continue this. And we're going to have a list of local pantries, different things that we could use that the government has available for different people with different needs, and go out there with a list, because sometimes we need to be reminded. We get so engulfed with technology and texting and everything like that we forget what's really important. And we put a lot of the superficial stuff ahead of what's important. And we have to remind them. And if we don't take the time to actually remind each other, then we're not playing the part that we should be playing on daily living with our human brothers and sisters and our neighbors. You don't have to live with everyone, but we all have to live on this earth. And it's a small world. And we have to take the time and energy and help one another. And even just doing what we just did here, by going out there to the streets and listening and hearing, is going to lead us to the next level of achieving our personal goal, which is to connect with the youth and really give them the resources needed. We can't give them money because, of course, we're not rich. We're not balling that way. But with the resources that we can give you, it's just as much if we gave you $20, because you could actually use that to your advantage, to the point that it'll get you to that next level of you loving you and you not struggling.
And this is in every city. This isn't, to the listeners out there, this isn't just New York City. New York City has a big problem. But, I'm sure it's going on in San Francisco and all the other major cities and other towns and countries throughout the United States and world. I know they're out there feeling that they're alone, or they're not sure, and then they're getting in with the wrong crew, and they just need direction and an ear. That's what it's all about. And like I said, it's all around the world. This is just here in New York City. So I imagine in your own town, there are kids out there that they have nowhere to go. They're getting kicked out of their houses. They need some support.
Yep, that's for sure. It's not a good thing. Just a little side note here. I got to mention about this because, I heard a lot of them use the term creator, and whenever I hear someone use the term creator, of course, I think about Christianity, I think about the Bible, and, of course, that same book is the one used as a weapon against our community so often. And I got to remind people just very quickly that, there's about 6 or 7 verses in the Bible that are supposedly about homosexuality. Folks, there's over 3,000 verses in the Bible about the poor and the starving, and I think someone's got their priorities a little screwed up.
Yeah, because we should be tackling the higher number aspect of that almighty book.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of tackling that small. They're both equally, important, because equally, equality is that, equally. But, when you think about it number-wise, I think, yeah, our priorities are definitely all screwed up.
Yeah, it shouldn't be happening. This shouldn't be happening. This is an injustice that should not be happening, period. I can hear people out there saying, all they got to do is go get a job, or whatever. Well, I'm sure if they could, they would, and if they wouldn't be down there if they had another choice, Who the hell wants to live homeless?
Exactly. Well, that's
we want to
why.
live fabulous. Like, we don't want to live fabulous. And I don't even mean just fabulous, but in a gay term, fabulous, where everything is just.
Well, that's why we definitely promote to do the same thing in your area. If you're listening in San Francisco, wherever you're listening from, we definitely promote to go out there and talk to the youth, whether you record it or just even off the record, and listen to them and hear them. And then if you have any extra, do that at a local level. We shouldn't let our government actually, we shouldn't rely on them enough to actually want the best interests for us as a community. We should actually take it upon ourselves at a local level, wherever you live, and actually go out there and listen and hear and bring out canned goods and bring out bread and bring out clothing and bring out all these different little things that are actually big things for daily living that we take for granted as a society, and actually take it out there to the streets and take it to the youth, take it to whoever needs it, and really help your neighbors. Because if we're going to actually wait till our government give us clothing on our back or food or anything like that, and here you walk by a restaurant and tons of food's being thrown away, and that shouldn't even be happening. Take it to the streets and actually give what you have extra, what you would normally throw away. Give what you normally would contribute to Goodwill or Salvation Army. Actually give it to an individual, because you actually get so much more satisfaction by seeing their face and their reaction and actually hearing them and listening to them, that at the end of the day, when you do that, you leave with so much more than just doing a tax write-off. And trying to get that money at the end of the year, which is great. That means so much at the end of the year. But you know what? You're giving it back to the government, really. You're not giving it back to your local brothers and sisters, and you get it partially, but you don't get what you normally would get, like if you were sharing clothing, sharing food, and actually going out, listening, and hearing an individual.
Seeing the faces of the children out there, that just to see this is who's been thrown out of their house because of an identity choice that they made.
Not that they made, no, that they're
well,
just
no,
being
I'm
themselves.
saying the identity choice that they're being themselves, but to their parents or whoever's throwing them out, it's an identity choice that they made, so they're being thrown out of their house because of it, and they're not being accepted because of it, and they just need a loving hand, like we all do.
Yep, and I think Cisco brought up a good point, being around, and we've got to mention around Goodwill and Salvation Army. Folks, that's great. You got your tax write-off because they're going to give you a receipt for your donation. But you know what? You know what they do with that stuff you give to them? They aren't out in the street giving it to the people that need it. They're selling it in a store somewhere and making money off of it.
That's right. That's right. So it's not touching the people that you think it's touching. It's actually touching pockets.
They actually make it hard for those people to get the
vouchers
to pick up stuff in these stores. So don't think that because you're giving it, a beautiful set of pots and pans that you use 3 or 4 times and you have a new set, and you think somebody out there that really, really needs them is going to get them. No, like here in New York, they mark this stuff up entirely too high so that even the lowest income families can't even touch them because they're still too high out of their price range for something that's been used and been given to a charity so it can help somebody else. It's not helping anybody else. It's helping make them line their pockets and line their dollars, the dollars that they're gaining, line their coffers with them, and it's not really helping the poor. I used to have poor when I worked for Goodwill. I had poor come in to get vouchers, and we had to send them on a wild goose chase to get vouchers. I mean, sometimes, if they had a voucher, if they were lucky to get a voucher, we would actually throw a few extra things in their bag just to give them something, to make them feel that they were walking away with at least something. They could have a full outfit instead of a shirt and a pair of pants. We can get you the shoes and socks and underwear and throw it in the bag too and help you out. But, of course, if my boss would have known that, that would have been the end of it. It wasn't bringing the money in that they wanted. So it is all of that. It's all corporations, whether it be charities. Charities are always connected to the
corporate lies.
Corporate lies, and that's it really goes through with United Way, because that as a kid, my family needed help from United Way, and we were told that they couldn't help us. So now I basically tell them that when I'm asked at work to donate to United Way. I choose not to help them because they choose not to help my family in the 1970s when they needed help. So, you know, that's how I feel about that. You know, the whole charitable thing, you know, if you're going to get money back at the end of the year, I guess if that makes you feel good and warm and fuzzy, I guess do that. But
you're actually neglecting the big picture.
If you need to help somebody on the street with a coat or with just anything, a bar of soap, a sandwich, apple,
shavers,
anything that's going to get to help them, you know, keep their dignity. You know, it's better to give it to them on the street and you know, work with them a little bit, give them the resources.
Yeah, I think people put too much value in the money. You know, that's we're talking about, you know, warm fuzzy feelings that are priceless. You know, when you see that smile on someone's face, you see that someone is really grateful that you're actually firsthand witnessing and doing something yourself rather than dismissing it and throwing it in some Goodwill collection box somewhere, and just that's the end of it. You know, you can get so much more out of it, and that receipt you're going to get for that donation for that income tax thing at the end of the year. You know, when you get that warm and fuzzy feeling inside, you know, that you've done something good, that you helped someone that really needed the help, and you saw it firsthand, and you did it firsthand, and you can't put a price on that.
Yep, you're right. You can't put a price on that. When we were on Christopher Street and this was going on, where we were talking to the youth, man, it was so rewarding that we could actually go out there, and while everyone was telling us, because while we've been doing this, people have been telling us, older generation, that have been telling us that, you know, different things, different negative things. And then for us to go out there and actually have the youth, you know, have open arms and listen and hear what we had to say enough for them to actually interject. You know, at that point in time, they were their most vulnerable. They were struggling the most. They were thrown out of their house, and they still had the courage to actually have a message of what pride meant to them. And they never, for the most part, had a negative. It was more of a negative that what
they didn't have their hand out either.
It was a negative about what the community was doing as a whole more than it was negative, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they never, I mean, they did ask for money a few times, and we made it a point to say that we're not balling like that. And that's why we continue to say that. We don't have money that way, but we're more than welcome to giving you the resources that you need to help you get to where you're going in life. Because all of them had high aspirations for them as individuals and also as us as a community. So,
yeah,
it was a really good show, and it really opened. Hopefully, it opened a lot of listeners' eyes.
Yeah, and it will more too as a podcast, because we'll have a lot more listens on the podcast. I think we're going to end up getting some feedback on this one. That's for sure. Great show, guys.
Oh, thank you for sharing this, and thank you for sharing this with us. Really, because your platform is for all of us. We don't have any special treatment just because, you know, we have a blog and, you know, anything like that. We're special. This is really a platform for everyone, and everyone should take advantage of queerpublicradio.com and make yourself at home so that you can actually learn many different levels of what's going on around us that's affecting us at a human level, above and beyond anything. It's affecting us at a human level. So definitely make sure to use this platform more. And thank you again for sharing this with us, Tom. Really, seriously.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
Thanks to the people out there listening.
Yeah, it's you know, I got to tell a little story out of school here, I guess. You know, I can't forget that first day that Cisco and Rob, when you two came back. You know, after the first day you went out there to Christopher Street, and you know, Cisco was emotional. I mean, he couldn't even go to sleep that night. He, you know, Rob had to go to work the next day. Rob had to go to sleep, but they were so pumped. I was thinking to myself, how the hell is Rob going to go to sleep? You know?
How I did Tuesday night, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I got a little sick actually that night, but I still don't even know how I did that. I mean, but it was the youth and what they were giving back that was really worth it. Made it worth it. Definitely glad I did it.
Yeah, but Cisco was all pumped. He stayed up all hours of the night. He just because that's what I'm trying to get through. And words cannot get through these emotions and feelings and everything that come with this stuff. And I hope somehow, some way, that through listening to this wonderful production that Cisco and Rob have presented for us today, that it reaches out to somebody out there, or a lot of somebody's, I actually hope, and makes you realize that you can do this too.
Yeah, you could definitely do this in your area. We're not special, and we don't have millions of dollars. We don't even have hundreds of dollars, But we're just lucky enough to actually hustle. We're hustlers just as much as these youth are. We're doing 10 different things to make it all come together. And we're lucky to be together 18 years, which that's something else that we share on top of certain resources, because we're very resourceful. So certain resources we're looking to share with the youth so that they can get back on their feet and focus on the extended family. And unfortunately, your nest, your original family, your bloodline, your blood family, unfortunately, they're the ones with the problems. So at that point in time, you can't dwell on what their problem is. You only have to look within yourself and believe within yourself. So now you take this to the next level, which is building on the extended family and taking the resources that are available to you locally here in New York City, and continue on your personal mission to being you, because that's the end result of all these different, compiling all these different messages, where the end result is to be you. Do not conform to anything.
I think another little story that needs to go that kind of fits in right here with this puzzle that I'm trying to present to everybody, because I'm trying to draw, from every straw I can here to try to get this across. And Rob told a little story prior to y'all going out there about one day when he was on his way home, I believe it was, and a couple of the youth said something, and he responded to them, and they were in shock.
Mm-hmm.
Because he talked to them, because he said something to them. You people out there got to realize that these youth are the castaways. No one wants to talk to them. Most people don't even want to see them. They'll avoid them. They'll go out of their way to avoid them. Drive 10 miles out of their way to avoid seeing this. And that's when Rob answered them and spoke to them. They were in shock. So, there's people out there that are probably saying, well, all you did was go out and talk to these kids. Well, yeah. But the problem that people that are saying that are having is that it's not all they did. That is an earth-shaking and shattering experience for these youth to have someone, especially us in the elder generation, come up to them and care what they have to say.
Yeah, especially two fat, hairy guys. That don't really, because we get discriminated all the time. So really, to have two people that you would normally make fun of, because honestly, that's what people do, to actually have them come up to you and have a message and actually listen and hear them and not be judgmental, that was powerful in itself. That actually opened them up to the possibilities of being more open and not judging a book by its cover. So it was all around a learning experience for them, for us. Now what we're hoping is that since we learned so much on their account, hopefully they learned on their own account and they learned from us, and we're all able to share it and grow together as a community.
Yeah, and carry that one step further. Hopefully the listeners will learn too.
Exactly. Definitely. That's part of the whole sharing the experience of life.
Yeah, step up to the plate, do your part. I mean, everyone needs to do a part, and Rob and Cisco are doing what they can. I'm doing what I can, and we're poor. We're poor. I've been unemployed for 5 years, Rob and Cisco got that high-dollar New York rent over there, and they're having a hard time making it. We're not rich people, but we're doing what we can.
But we're all part of that LGBT soup, and you put a little bit in, like the story, the button soup story. You keep putting a little in, And wow, when you're done with it, it's going to be tasty.
Yeah.
We use the same resources, the pantries, welfare, any of these things that are around us that are more made to set us up to fail. But if you actually use it for a limited time and don't actually use it as a crutch and use it there for what it's for, really, which is to help you get on your feet and stuff, then you're able to, because we use all those resources. We're not immune to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we dumpster dive. Rob has a regular job. I do art. We do different things to make it all come together. And, that's why we're looking to share it with the youth, because the youth, they're out there hustling too, but they don't have to hustle the way they're hustling to make a difference, because you can see they definitely want to make a difference, and they're not happy.
And I can't blame them. I wouldn't be happy either. And this isn't a news story, folks. I remember back in the 80s when I was working in the early 80s when I was working in a gay bar. I met a young man that was Hispanic down in San Antonio, Texas, that got thrown out of his home when he was 14 years old and had to prostitute himself in the streets.
Wow.
And that's exactly what's going on with a lot of these Christopher Street youth. I mean, I read one of the stories when we were some of the people we've met and run across during this whole thing, since Rob and Cisco have been doing this whole thing. There's been people that's opened a lot of doors. People have said, hey, we love what you're doing. This is an awesome thing. And, that one deal came through from that Sylvia's house there, which is evidently one of the housing outfits there for some of these homeless.
Sylvia Rivera, who, with Marsha P. Johnson, created that star which stood for Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries, and there's a street named after Sylvia Rivera right downtown, right off of Christopher Street.
Oh, wow.
Hudson is named Sylvia Rivera Way, in memory of her.
But yeah, one of their rules in that house is you have to you have to be home every night. You have to come in every night. You can't be out on the street. They have a curfew, an hour. You can't be out past this hour or whatever it is. Otherwise, you won't have a place to stay anymore. And when you don't have any money, and that's how some of them make their money, is to be out on the street in the evening, prostituting themselves, which is a shame in itself, unspeakable shame. That we should all feel, not just them. We should all feel that shame.
Yeah, because we all play a part in that. Yes, it's a person, an individual that you don't know, and you may say, oh, they can easily get a job. But the way companies are expanding and being on every corner, they're actually helping with us with the economy not being, the jobs that we need to live. So at that point in time, we have to realize that us as individuals have to actually help certain, people in the streets and take it out in the streets, and
like Marsha P. Johnson,
like
Sylvia Rivera,
yep.
And gentleman, I can't remember his name, created the loft.
Yeah, definitely, though. We definitely have to stop relying on the government to full-blown give us what we should have on daily living. And really, at some point in time, we have to go out there and help our neighbors and help our youth and help even our elderly, because there's certain elderly that also, for whatever reason, didn't mature mentally, where they're still sort of, young mentally, and where they're not able to also attend to themselves. You see it also. I mean, we're pinpointing youth, but it really is a human thing, where you see it at many different age brackets, that everyone's having a hard time. And we actually see that instead of turning a deaf ear or turning to the, turning your back on people, actually see it at a street level. And you don't have to give money, because a lot of the times the money goes towards wrong things. Of course, because you're trying to mask real life.
Give them something that matters. Give them some direction. Give them
resources,
some clothing,
food,
some foods. Wrap up some sandwiches, or buy them a pizza.
Hear and listen to them. Even just going over there and saying, hey, how are you? My name is such and such, and I don't want to know your name. It's not about your name. It's about your, what's going on with you, and really connect with people.
Yeah, maybe go have lunch with them. Just go pick a random stranger out somewhere that's homeless and go have lunch with them. But maybe buy a hotel room for a night where they can get a shower and have a bed to sleep in that night. Whatever. I mean, just do something. How can people sit here and turn a blind eye to human suffering? Because you know what, folks? Karma comes around, and that could be you or someone in your family that could be in that situation. And do you think if you won't step up to the plate for somebody else, do you think someone should step up to the plate for you if that was you? Double standard, maybe?
Exactly.
We're all getting old, and we're not getting any younger. So somebody's going to take care of us. We forget the youth, our youth, be it LGBT youth or straight youth, they're going to be the ones taking care of us as we age. So, just as much help as they need is the help we're going to need as we move on in our later years.
Oh yeah. What do you think? Yeah, what do you think's going to happen then? Here we got a whole subset of society that we're turning our backs on, and where do you think that how they're going to feel when they get older?
They're not going to help us because we never gave them an even time of day half of them.
Exactly.
Any?
Yeah, and then that's when the older generation said, "You see, I told you this younger generation is shit." But you're neglecting your part in the reason why this younger generation is shit.
I have that opinion. I was.
Yeah, and as long as you keep neglecting your part in daily living and the reason why certain things are the way they are today in society and just daily living, then you will continue to look the other way. It will continue to fall on deaf ears because you're actually neglecting your part.
Yep, exactly. You can sit there and say whatever you want, and what's the matter with them? Well, yeah, what's the matter with them is you. Look in the mirror.
Yeah, exactly. Reflect on yourself, connect with what you do, and the reason why things are the way they are. Because remember, you were younger at one point, and you're not playing your part as older, so you're neglecting what you didn't do when you were younger, and you're neglecting what you're not doing older also.
Yeah. I think
going on though.
It's kind of selfish, and that's, if people are going to be selfish and we continue this mind, it's like these youth said, we all need to come together. And like you said, there's no I in team, and we're all cut from the same cloth. These aren't just little wonderful little sayings. These are real life. These are things that should affect people, realizing that if we don't all come together, and we can all come together and have a positive influence on the world, or we can continue on the way we're doing, and the negativity is going to overwhelm us, and our world is going to cease to exist as we know it. Yeah, and I got to mention, because this kind of mixes in with pride. Just if and some people might get upset with me about it, but that's too bad. Today is Juneteenth for those of you who don't know. Today is Juneteenth. What is Juneteenth? And this is where it connects with our LGBT community, is the fact that in 1863 the Emancipation Proclamation was passed, which freed the slaves in Texas. And that's Juneteenth is why today is celebrated. It wasn't until 2 years later, in 1865, when slaves were freed in Texas. So, I mean, when you relate that to the gay community, the way things are, it's like, is this really the way our humanity is, the way we are as human beings, that, that we really can justify that, something like that? We didn't even tell them until 2 years later that they didn't have to be slaves anymore, that they were free? And this is kind of the same thing that's happening in the gay community with they're trying to ignore us. They're trying to turn their backs on us, and they're trying to, just blow us off. But, we're in their face, and we're screaming and yelling, and that ain't going to happen. And, the slaves didn't have that right. It was actually, the people that did the right thing for once in a blue moon. But it's the same kind of thing here that we see happening, and it's really sad to me to see the humanity has gotten more selfish over time because, like I've often said, with the women's suffrage movement, it took them approximately 75 years to gain their federal recognition. With the African American community, it took them approximately 80 years to receive their federal recognition. With us, it's 86 or 87 years so far, and we're still waiting. What's wrong with that picture? Why would humanity and human rights issues take longer each time? If we learned from any previous, historically, through these things, like Juneteenth, like women's suffrage, like African American civil rights, if we learned from these things in the history of our human lives and existence, you would think that it would take less time each time when it comes to human rights, that people would realize that human dignity is something to be put upon high, and no one should be denied that.
Well, it's even like just what happened a few years ago, more than a few years ago now, when Louisiana, New Orleans had the hurricane, and how it took us 4 days as a country to react to somewhere inside our country. Wow. But sometimes we react to what goes on outside of our country that may not have anything to do with us.
Yeah. We constantly do that.
How do we forget these people that they're just as much part of the United States as Washington, D.C. or anywhere else?
The people in, Iraq or, how are people outside of our country actually worth more?
How are we making them wait 4 days just for basic supplies when it's right here?
Mm-hmm.
So it's still going on, even in little mail, 4 days there, but that affected people for years.
But I can see why our community actually is targeted the most, because if you really look at it, not as a numbers or a scientific study or anything like that, but if you actually look at people outside and you see and feel that there are so many LGBT people around you, you can see why our community is actually the most oppressed, because we're actually the most. We're the most of. If you put into numbers, I could easily say that 80 to 20, 80 LGBT and 20 straights. So when you have numbers like that, just looking at a general level, looking at people on the street in New York City and different places we've lived in the country, you can see why they would want to keep our community the way they've been keeping us and not giving us very minimal, if any, rights. Because if they do, then it's easier to control us. It's easier to do certain things that we avoid trying to be, and we end up cloning. Because we're almost force-fed that.
Yeah.
The charities, that we see in our community, you can see that they're doing the same thing as charities that are for everyone, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
So, you could see the pattern in it, just people aren't connecting with the pattern in it, and they're not looking at the big picture. They're pinpointing one thing more than the other, and they're not seeing that they're actually working together as a whole.
Yeah, and the United Nations in recent news, it was years ago when Bush was in office, they had a resolution in the United Nations for all peoples of the world to not be discriminated against, and that included sexual orientation and gender identity. But since this is still going on, irregardless of the United Nations resolution, and by the way, the United States, since that was under Bush, did not sign on to that resolution, but 66 other countries did, so the resolution passed without the United States support. But now, we got Obama in there. It's a whole different world, and our representatives in the United Nations, and they're very LGBT positive, and they did sign on to this most recent resolution that the United Nations passed just this last week. Specifically, it's the only time the United Nations has ever specifically called out discrimination against the LGBT community. They specifically put a resolution out of the United Nations in the last week stating that gender identity and sexual orientation cannot be discriminated against. Even though this is already covered in a resolution passed years ago, they had to pass another resolution to try to drive the point home that, hey, we weren't really kidding about this. We're serious. And they had to pass a whole nother resolution just to make sure that people realize we really were serious.
That's funny. Well, that's why you have to take advantage, people, just in general, have to take advantage of a lot of the things that are given to us right now as gifts from the Obama administration. and really use these things, because you don't know who's going to be next and if they're going to include us in the agenda, because unfortunately, we have to think that way.
Well, yeah, and you're exactly right, because the vast, when I say vast, I mean probably over 98% of everything that Obama's done for our community is just signature driven. It can be taken away. The only thing that is actually law that has been put into place under the Obama administration is the Matthew Shepard James Burr Jr. Act. And that's the only one that, they would have to legislatively remove. All the rest of the things that we've gotten from the administration, the next guy that comes in can just get rid of all these things. Sign, they're gone. There's no legislative anything needed to remove all the 99.9% of everything that we supposedly have achieved and received under the Obama administration.
Yeah, that's why it's important that you keep up with these things as people and really take advantage of these things while we have them now. And that's why it's important if we all do it at the same time, which is now, because after a while they'll see that most of the numbers actually took advantage of what's available for us as a community. Then after a while they'll be like, well, there's no reason for us to fight against them, because most of the numbers actually dictate that most of them took advantage when it was available to them.
Mm-hmm.
So now it actually defeats the purpose of us actually writing a law that says, you can't, when most of you took advantage. So I guess, yeah, you can. That's why power in numbers is so important.
Yeah.
Well, I would have to say, after 42 years, coming up, we're just about a week out now to 42 years since Stonewall happened. And, I mean, we've gotten a lot, and we still have a long way to go. In those years, since the first Stonewall riot, that has given us the events around the country and the world that we have. I'm glad that, I am glad for the camp that we had that got us through Stonewall, that kept a lot of people alive instead of what could have happened. And where else but in the LGBT community could somebody get a pie in the face like Anita Bryant for her, what she does and what she's still doing. But, we took it to that extreme and said, you know what, here's a pie in the face, because, that's what you're worth. We're going to get our point across, but we're not going to kill you. We're just going to...
And the point got across well, because Anita Bryant...
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
I mean, but like I said, 42 years later, and here we are, and it's great that we were able to get out in the street and talk to the youth and just anybody that would open up to us and hear what we had to say, and we could hear what they had to say, like Andre J. and Tyron and Jem and Tree, Sequoia at the Stonewall, and Mark Cicero, who we'll be interviewing next week. You'll hear the interview next week, and Ernie Clam, and all these people that took the time out for this Pride events and took time out of their June to stop and talk to us and join our little extended family. It's been amazing.
Well, and thank you two, for putting your hand out, for
well, honestly, you pushed us for it.
Yeah.
But, meaning not in a bad way either. You actually...
Plus, I
saw the potential, I think, and really you opened yourself up to give us the chance, and thank you also.
And I've been wanting to get out there and do the parade more. I mean, 93 was probably my biggest year of my life. Doing the Philadelphia parade, doing the March on Washington, doing the New York Pride parade, and even meeting Cisco late that year. That year was an amazing year. I did so much. I felt like I was so involved just in every part of the gay community. I guess I wasn't that much of an activist, but I did get a chance to see and know what it was like to march in a history-making parade. And I want to kind of do that again. That's, may not be marching it, but just to be part of it and to share it with Queer Public Radio is amazing. And the people out there all over the world.
Totally awesome. Well, guys, you got whatever time you want to wrap up whatever you got to say else, because I know it's getting late. You guys want to go to bed. I know Rob's got to go to work in the morning.
Got the garden party tomorrow night. It's
Hosted by Wendy Williams.
Yeah, it supports the LGBT community center here in New York City. It's all the restaurant vendors bringing their food together for a food tasting benefit. Tickets, I'm sure, are still available. They might be a little more now because it's getting closer to the event. But if you go to the LGBT community center's website, if you Google them, you can get right to them, and you learn about all the events that are happening this week. So if you can come up here from Philadelphia or close by, try and hit New York City.
But we definitely want to thank the youth, for really just the courage to really leave themselves open, and no matter what was going on that day that we approached them, they were still able to keep a positive attitude and message and throw truth. And it was a little bit of blame game, but they realized the part that they play if they were given the chance. And really thank you for listening, and even if you're not, we'll see you out there, because July we're going to lay low a little bit and gather up everything that we want to do for August and continuing this, because this is not something that we're just doing for June. We did it for June because, of course, Tom just was great enough to give us the platform to do our own show collectively with QPR. But it was more to test the waters and see, break us out of our own comfort zone, because we're still growing. We're still growing. We're still doing at all this stuff, and even just opening our own relationship up to other people and sharing our own. But this was really to test the waters and see what was to come, and it definitely went the route that I knew personally in my heart the way it was going to go, and it went that way. And I definitely look forward to connecting with more youth on top of the youth that we've already spoken to and connected with.
Spreading the history.
And spreading the history, spreading the word, and becoming more visible while helping our community.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. That's about a wrap then, huh?
Yeah, thank you again, and thank you for listening, and thank you for taking the time to sharing this with us, because it was an eye-opener, it was a real-life experience, and I've grown immensely since I've met Tom, since I've met Rob, since I've met a lot of different people, Jay Moses, Tyron Jem, Bosco, Chris Riley, Brigida, a lot of people on Twitter, Gary Blockman, Victor, Holness, Raj, his partner of 7 years. And it's just been a beautiful thing. It really is.
Riley.
Yeah.
For his donations.
Tree
Sequoia.
Everyone on our friends list on Facebook. My brother Kevin, honestly, because he helped with the concept of BackintheGays with the website, and really just helping all around, and he's been nothing but support. And really, I've only been myself. I've been with my partner 18 years, and I have not lived a lie. And that's why I was lucky enough to have his support on top of having everyone else's support. And yeah, thank you.
Awesome, guys. Anything else?
No, I think I said about it enough. A lot of fun. Now I got to get ready for Wendy, so I got to start practicing my how you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Yo, Tom, how you doing?
Oh.
I just got to get a couple scandals going. Go like, about this one.
All right, well, let's get out of here and then return the folks to our regularly scheduled programming. This podcast should be available within the next couple hours on queerpublicradio.com.
Bye. Good night.
See ya.